Goodings.
Getting fit your New Year's resolution? Book a Pilates and group exercise class at FIVEAA Extra, 6 locations.
Investigations are continuing into the death of a woman crushed by a tree in the North Adelaide parklands yesterday. She was sitting under the gum tree near the University of Adelaide soccer ground when part of the trunk came crashing down on top of her. Despite the efforts of paramedics, she died at the scene. Casuals will be given extra protection after Labor secured enough support to pass the next stage of its workplace laws. Federal politics editor Michael Packey.
The Greens and 2 independents have given the Albanese government the numbers it needs to pass the next phase of its IR laws. Casuals will have a greater ability to switch to part or full-time work, while gig economy workers like food delivery riders will have extra safeguards. Workers will also have the right to disconnect, meaning bosses will be prevented from calling or emailing staff after hours, except in emergencies. Businesses have slammed the deal, arguing the government is essentially legislating what should be common sense.
Supermarkets, banks, energy companies and airlines have been criticised in a union-backed inquiry into soaring costs. The probe has found a lack of competition is driving up prices across the economy. It's recommending major government intervention to break up monopolies and better regulate consumer costs. Israel's Prime Minister is rejecting Hamas' response to a ceasefire deal, maintaining the only way forward is a complete victory over the terror group. Benjamin Netanyahu has met with US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who has visited the region to push for a pause in fighting. Mr. Netanyahu says only by destroying Hamas will there be security for the State of Israel.
There is no other solution other than this complete and decisive victory, because otherwise it is just a matter of time till the next massacre, and the axis of terror from Iran will continue.
There are calls to upgrade the safety in Australian cars in line with Europe. The EU has made it compulsory for drivers to be alerted when they exceed the speed limit. More than 1,200 people died on the nation's roads last year. A giant umbrella could be used to help stop the Earth overheating. The idea being floated by physicists and astronomers involves a giant parasol being launched into space to provide shade and cool the Earth down. Scientists believe the planet could be cooled by 1.5 degrees if just under 2% of the sun's radiation is blocked. Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Get immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and their brand new dealership at Mawson Lakes.
And now here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. The board votes have closed for Port Adelaide's members, with Warren Tredrea or Bruce Abernathy set to take the final member-elected position. An announcement on who's been selected is expected to be revealed at tomorrow night's AGM. Meantime, Carlton is placing an added focus on the defensive side of its game heading into the new AFL season. Blues winger Blake Acres says Michael Voss is adamant it will make them a better side.
Vossy's harps on it every session. We start with our defence and let the game come off that. The whole pre-season's just been doubling down on that and our defence and our contest stuff and letting the game come off the back of that, which is what has been our main focus all pre-season, and I reckon we're in a good space at the moment with that.
Australia has suffered their first ever loss to South Africa in a one-day international women's cricket match. The Aussies dropped 5 catches as they went down by 84 runs at North Sydney Oval last night. And in some soccer to finish, Qatar is into the Asian Cup final where they'll meet Jordan. Qatar with a stunning 3-2 win against Iran to book their place. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
And now the FIVEAA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
Blue skies ahead. Sunny and 29 today, sunny and 29 tomorrow. Saturday, sunny 31. Sunday, the hottest of them all, 33 and sunny. Right now in Adelaide, it's 15. More news as it happens on FIVEAA.
I was just doing my job. I didn't think I'd get injured.
The doctor said it was a routine procedure? Right.
The car came out of nowhere and it smashed right into us.
At DBH Lawyers, we're here to listen to your story. Our team of local South Australian lawyers will help you navigate the law and find the best way forward. We're with you. We're for you. We're DBH Lawyers. dbh.com.au.
Get saving now with City Discount Tyres. We're offering great deals on the world's top brands in tyres, wheels, suspension and parts. Suitable for four-wheel drives, SUVs and passenger cars, including Falcon, Michelin, Pirelli, Kumho, Hankook and many more. Finance options available. Search citydiscounttyres.com.au and locate your nearest dealer today. City Discount Tyres. We're driven by value.
When you're a market-leading builder like Regent Homes, you never rest on your laurels. It's why Regent Homes is South Australia's only builder offering 3D virtual reality technology in their Envision Design Studio. At your first design meeting, you'll walk through your home in virtual reality. It's a wow moment, enriching your experience so you can make the right design choices from the start. Regent Homes. Innovative design, elevated living. Visit regenthomes.com.au.
It's easy to get behind the wheel of a new Mawson Lakes Volkswagen right now. In fact, it's ridiculously easy. All you need to do is head to the showroom on Salisbury Highway, check out the range of new and demo Volkswagens on sale now, and then pick your favourite. How easy is that? All stock is ready for immediate delivery, with easy finance options available. And remember our next day servicing. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
Hi, my name's Reece Kirkbright from Kirkbright Seafood. We looked at advertising with FIVEAA to grow our brand and sort of grow out of sight of our postcode of where our shop was positioned. We were lucky enough that Emma from FIVEAA contacted us. We liked what she had to say and what she sort of stood for and what FIVEAA stood for. Seemed to match in with our values as a business and as people. So it's actually given us a lot more than just advertising. It's given us some significant sort of goals, vision, mission and long-term view of where we want to be. So it's given us a significant amount more than just straight, here's a radio ad.
To get your message out there and grow your business, visit fiveaa.com.au and hit the Advertise With Us link for more information.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. This is 5AA Breakfast.
7 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Thursday on 5AA Breakfast. It is the 8th of February. We're off to the US first hour. Tim Lester will join us. I tell you what, Nikki Haley had a pretty disappointing result in the old Nevada primary. We might talk about that in a moment. She lost to other candidate.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's not great. Matt Abraham's coming up after 7:30. We'll just dissect the spin of the week. And Matt licking his lips because we had a major stunt yesterday. Been a while since we've had a stunt with props. But the government, in spruiking their ambulance response time record, had the parklands festooned with cardboard cutouts of little people to represent how well they're going. See what Matt thinks about all that. And then a little bit later in the morning, Nathan Cosmina from the Reds. We're going to talk about gambling in sport and a whole lot more because there's a lot going on right around the country at the moment that we're going to jump into today. David Penberthy, good morning into.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. Yeah, that Reds chat's going to be interesting after GWS announced yesterday. The ad almost draws attention to their greatest weakness because there's footage of a completely empty Bankstown stadium in it. But the most brazen sports sponsorship I can recall, certainly in the AFL, where straight up TAB sponsoring them, and the whole premise of it is how good's gambling. The ad, what's his name? The player everyone loves to hate from
Toby Green.
Toby Green. He's in it, all the other big names, but they're looking up at this green Zeppelin in the sky that just says TAB, and they turn and look at each other and go, "We're on, boys." Now, what does that even mean? It's just let's gamble. Let's go and do some gambling.
That said, I don't blame GWS because the AFL is happy to rake in the money from gambling.
That is very true.
So they're not going it alone.
Oh, no.
You try and watch an AFL game. Every 19 seconds there's an advertisement for gambling.
Is it Centrebet? No, it's not Centrebet, it's Sportsbet.
Sportsbet.
The official wagering partner of the AFL.
It interrupts the coverage. Bring you up to speed with some terrible multi.
Don't you think wagering sounds more gentlemanly than gambling as well?
Completely.
It's a deliberately chosen word because wagering sounds like you're having the odd flutter. You know, like any decent
A wager sounds almost measured.
Yeah, wager.
Well, I've considered the risk v. the reward, and I've put forward my stake.
Yeah.
Gambling sounds like you're half drunk and you sort of started mashing the buttons on your sports bet app.
Well, if you do like blankety-blank style word association games. You say gambling, people say problem, or gambling addiction, or, wagering doesn't have that sort of link.
No, it's interesting, isn't it? But yeah, I find it hard to get angry at GWS because...
Remember the words on the back of the old Peter Stuyvesant pack? The international passport to smoking pleasure.
It's a nice formula of words.
With a picture of the Manhattan skyline.
Sounds classy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you were part of the in crowd. Till you wound up in, Ward 4B at Flinders Medical Centre.
What the Reds have done is, it is actually, the absence is noticeable. A lot of times people make moral stances against things, and because it involves, well, we're not going to participate in this, you forget about it because you don't see it. Counterintuitively, you almost don't recognise the sacrifice that's being made. But with them, it's true. I go to the games, and it's just not in your face. It's not popping up on the big screen, or there's not references to it everywhere.
The counter argument, of course, is that it's a free country, and most people gamble and don't destroy.
I say this all as someone who bets.
Yeah, you have the odd flutter, don't you?
Yep. I'm not.
I never got the bug. I just don't understand it. It's funny, isn't it?
Well, you probably have this. You've got a real
I've
issue.
Got other vices.
You don't like losing money, so I don't know what you're point. All right, smart guy.
Well, it's not. I don't know.
No, but that's.
I don't get the excitement of it. It just doesn't resonate with me emotionally.
I don't object to it on a personal level, but I do find the amount of advertising that goes on to be. It's obtrusive. It's in your. It's too much.
Yeah, it is.
It's offensive.
Yeah,
and I think it diminishes what the AFL don't realise. And look, the problem they've got is we've been ahead of the United States on all this, and we often use the United States as a sort of reference point to talk about what is the young generation going to make of all this. They're just catching up to us, so it's not as though everyone's looking at some other sport in the world going, "Oh, I wish it was more clean like over there." Like we've been the pace setter on gambling, and other places are catching up to us. So everything else you look at just sort of, it's indistinguishable from one another. It's just the tentacles of gambling are so intertwined with all major sports around the world now. It's hard to imagine anyone's going to totally disentangle themselves.
Yeah, it's increasingly being marketed though, and you hear it in the tone and also the appearance of all the men in the ads. There's a sort of, they're pitched as these are the men you would like to be. One of the boys, the knockabout funny guys, the blokes with the sort of short socks and the, powder blue suits at the race day who are having a couple of loud ones, a couple of quiet ones, a couple of loud ones, and me and Wacker and, Jono and Bingo and Chook had the time of our lives, and you missed it. You should have been there, mate. Where were you?
Well, the insidious thing is, even if you are there,
I hate that. I hate that part of our culture. I think, for God's sake, surely we're not all that stupid.
But the insidious thing is, even if you are there, if you're the one of the five of the group that isn't into it because you're not into it, or you're not into it because you can't afford to be, well, you're missing out on the conversation, the jokes, the fact that West Coast Essendon on a Sunday evening is suddenly a thrilling experience. Like you can see how people get caught up, and you're right. The advertising plays precisely to that reality, and it's not like the old betting machine. I think in a pub once upon a time was a sort of a good vetting process because it required a more active. Well, I need to walk over there. I need to leave the group for a bit. I have to line up, scratch out a little ticket. Like there was a lot of steps.
Yeah.
But if you're standing there waiting for your mate to bring back a round of pints, well, there's no... Like, it's too easy.
Yeah.
It's just way too easy.
Once a year I go to the sports bar at the Goodie Park, which is the actual environment in there is superb just because you feel like you're in a country pub. And it's got those beautiful wood panel sort of vacuum-sealed doors with the big hydraulic handles, and the counteries are dirt cheap. You can get a plate of nachos for next to nothing, or a schnitty, and just sit there. And I've got a couple of mates who love putting a line through an afternoon. But I find that after about 2 hours, I get really bored, and I'm just there sort of for their company, but their company becomes less interesting the more drinks they have, because they're just up and down like the Syrian Empire, putting bets on, And I only ever bet on the dogs. So I'll just be sitting there doing like $6 box trifectas and, you know, the odd each way. But I just find I start having all these absent-minded thoughts. First thing is I really hate drinking during the day because I feel like I should be doing something else. I feel like I should be gardening. I sit there and I go, I could have spent an hour in the garden instead of just sitting here with these drunken idiots watching them spend money. That's probably not a very Australian way to think, is it? I like the idea of it. I like it at first, and then I think, that's probably 4 hours of my life that I could have spent differently.
Yeah.
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah. What do you think, folks? There's two paths. There's the GWS path, there's the Adelaide United path. What would you like to see your club do in a perfect world? Does it bother you, or is it sort of just part of, as David said, it's a free country? 8223 you can text us on the Duttons text line as well. Big 10 Ford, GW Haval, Hyundai, Isuzu, Ute, Mazda, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Ram, Subaru and Volkswagen. Duttons, easy to do business with. News headlines are next.
This year, it's time to stop holding yourself back. It's time to get the smile of your life at Next Smile Australia. Our gold standard all-on-4 gives you a new set of fixed, long-lasting teeth, a smile you want to show off, and a return to eating the foods you love. You also get 4 decades of dedicated all-on-4 experience and a clinically proven 98% success rate. Discover your new smile with Next Smile Australia. Book a complimentary consultation at nextsmile.com.au.
It's Edward from Edwardstown Mazda, South Australia's #1 destination for Mazda. Edwardstown Mazda has a very serious offer, so this is my most serious voice. This month's get savings equal to the on-road costs, plus free servicing on all 2023 plates. T's and C's apply. I'm Edward from Edwardstown Mazda, and I'm being very serious right now.
Now, is this going to be Tina, the Tina Turner musical? It's rolling into Adelaide this April, rolling like a river. And due to popular demand, final performances have just been announced.
This is great, this show, Bowl Report, celebrating the inspiring life story of Tina Turner, the Queen of Rock and Roll. Australian critics are calling it a rock music spectacular. Tina is guaranteed to have you on your feet.
Featuring more than 20 of her most iconic songs, including Proud Mary, River Deep Mountain High, and Simply the Best. Whether you're a massive Tina Turner fan or just looking for an unforgettable night out, we guarantee you'll have the time of your life at Tina.
A sloth can slow down its heartbeat, allowing it to hold its breath for 40 minutes. You can slow down, relax, and take a seat for as many minutes as you want in a compact director's chair from Aldi for $59.99. With a bamboo armrest trim and a fold-away side table, it's special you can buy at the Aldi Caravanning Sale this Saturday. Range differs between stores while stocks last. Aldi, good, different.
If you're constipated and struggling to poo, here's some great news. Introducing Caruso's Constipation Ease. Caruso's Constipation Ease is a new herbal and fibre combination containing cascara, yellow dog, fennel and green banana powder. These help to relieve constipation by making it easier for you to poo. So if you're struggling to poo and would like to poo more, why not try Caruso's Constipation Ease? Caruso's Constipation Ease is available from leading pharmacies and health stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
19 after 6. Let's jump into some of the other things going on around Adelaide at the moment, including a tragedy yesterday and a freak accident that took place in the North Adelaide Parklands with police and the City Council both is set to investigate the fact that a woman in her 20s was killed by a falling tree branch at the University of Adelaide's Park 12 soccer ground on War Memorial Drive. Happened around 2:30pm. Declan Dwyer from the MFS says it appeared she'd been sitting under the tree when the branch snapped.
We got here within just a few minutes and knowing that there was someone trapped underneath it, we knew we were going to have to swing into some life support and first aid, but unfortunately there was nothing we could do. 10
to 15 tonnes. They estimated the branch would have weighed.
It's just extraordinary, isn't it? What I mean, I say this seriously in a statistical sense. This time last week we were talking about the odds of winning Powerball. What are the odds of that happening to anybody? It's just extraordinary. Like the timing.
Yeah.
The split second. I mean, that tree could have done that at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, there was the case a fortnight ago with the woman at Mount Barker and her 4-year-old. She broke her leg severely in 3 places underneath one of the gums. The branch came down. She's going to have to, like, the break is so significant she will have to learn to walk again, and it just missed her daughter.
Yeah, it's just.
But have 2 of these similar incidents in the space of a fortnight.
I think the thing that is really alarming, although, as I said, the statistics of it, you just think, crikey, when your number's up, isn't it, sometimes?
Yep.
Like, it's just unfathomable. But it's different. It seems to be different from, you know, like we got a massive gum tree in our backyard, and on normal days, I got no issue with the kids running around playing soccer under it. I mow the lawn under it. I garden under it. It's just part of the landscape. It's really healthy. We've had an arborist check it out. But if it's really hot or if it's really windy, everyone knows, do not go under the tree. Do not go near the tree. But this tree sounds like it was sort of rotting or something. And there must be a lot of trees around that just suddenly fail, not on particularly hot or windy days. They just cark it.
Just because their number's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And how do you know?
Well, we're going to try and catch up with an arborist a little bit later to ask some of these questions.
Yeah.
Is it even possible to monitor it well enough to avoid these sorts of tragedies?
I mean, the other thing too, this isn't. Don't forget the death near the wonderful nursery up in Stirling, where the woman was in her car a year or so ago, and the tree just fell down.
That's right.
Totally crushed the car and killed her. You know, maybe I'm wrong about Powerball. Maybe that's the wrong analogy.
It seems like it happens more often than Powerball.
Yeah, there was a kid on the golf course years ago.
Yep.
There's been a few.
How about this for an idea? Big picture thinking. A giant umbrella could be used to stop the Earth overheating. The idea is being floated by physicists and astronomers and involves...
Not Professor Frink from The Simpsons, is it?
I don't know. He might be involved, but maybe he's a real-life equivalent. It involves a giant umbrella effectively being launched into space to provide shade and cool the Earth down. Scientists believe the planet could be cooled by 1.5 degrees if just under 2% of the sun's radiation is blocked. Now we're talking.
How do you make an umbrella that big? Who do you go to? Where do you get the
Well, no,
for that?
it doesn't start that big. Because, of course, it's bad luck to open an umbrella in the Earth's atmosphere.
Well, that's true.
So you'd wait to get it out, and then you'd open it up.
Yeah, that's right.
You'd hope there's no situation where the solar rays come from the other direction and then it flares backwards. That's always embarrassing.
You'd want to make sure it's a good umbrella, because imagine if it immediately folded the wrong way.
That would be problematic for the continuation of life on
like
planet
those
Earth.
$4.99 ones you get from the survey. Single use only.
I like it. There are calls to upgrade the safety in Australian cars. Heard this news item on 5AA a moment ago. To get us in line with Europe, the EU, you'll love this, David, the EU's made it compulsory for drivers to be alerted when they exceed the speed limit.
Compulsory?
It'll beep. More beeps are good. That's what we need in our lives.
Yeah.
More beeping.
More safety features in cars.
The impetus, of course, more than 1,200 people died on the nation's roads last year.
A lot of people would use their ding-ding reminder.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I've got one in my car.
There
must be
I
one.
think in my car, I'd be interested in what people have in theirs.
I mean, I've got this stupid thing that tells me the window's open after I've opened it. And it gives me a little yes-no, a questionnaire. It says window is open. Close open window?
I
Yes,
think the
no.
colour on my speedometer changes if it goes over the speed limit.
Because you get a European car, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember the old Commodore? The Commodore, later model Commodores had that little button directly above the stereo with the up-down arrows. And I'd always set it to 65.
It was a manual thing. I guess they're saying now they should be
I suppose
entirely
if any police
automated.
are listening, they'd say I should have set it to 60, shouldn't I?
Yeah, exactly right.
The European community would say that.
They would. Crossbenchers in Canberra are trying to put a freeze on the annual HEX debt hike, saying it's unfair in the middle of a cost of living crisis. Freeze HEX, but not the alcohol in the excise. Interesting. Australians have enrolled in tertiary courses at any stage since 1989, a forecast to owe a whopping $84 billion by June. It's a lot of money. The average student with a HECS debt now is around $26,000. With a rise in line with inflation, that figure's set to rise by about $1,000 more.
Who's calling for this? The Greens?
Crossbenchers, so Teals and Greens.
Teals. Yeah, right, okay. Good middle class issue, isn't it?
Yeah, good one.
Freeze it and make everyone pay through their taxes so that people can become doctors and lawyers. Seems like social justice, doesn't it?
Tens of thousands of complaints being made about telcos, about phone and internet outages. The Ombudsman saw a 13.4% increase in complaints in the September quarter. The industry Ombudsman Cynthia Gabert says most complaints happened during the Optus-wide outage last year.
Were impacted on the 8th of November last year, and that drove a lot of frustration to our office. You know, it really highlights how essential phone and internet services are for our ability to do so many things that we just take for granted.
I'd love to hear from our listeners who were affected by the Optus outage about how they've fared getting any type of money back, be it through their insurance company. Because all Optus has done, correct me if I'm wrong, is the free data nonsense.
Yeah, I believe so.
Because I read some of that report yesterday, and there's businesses that lost like 10 grand.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of money. And some of them lost, like a week's worth of profit.
Dutton's text line, Andrew in Rosedale says Mr. Burns did actually block out the sun in the Simpsons, so maybe the Simpsons again, proving prophetic.
That was the Simpsons movie, wasn't it?
Rennie will know.
Two-part series. It was Who Shot Mr. Burns.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thank you, Rennie. Does sport and Simpsons for us. Very rarely gets called in on the ladder. Bob says, I'm listening to the conversation regarding gambling. I would like to add my 10 cents worth. Little known fact, the world's biggest and most successful manufacturer of the poker machine is Aristocrat, which is an Australian company. Bet you didn't know that.
Victorian, aren't they?
Yeah.
Got some weird suspicion they're from Bendigo. Not sure.
We do punch above our weight in the gambling stakes, that's for sure. Tom Wren is in the studio with us. Get immediate delivery. Sorry, Rennie, that was not a word association thing. That was totally accidental. Get immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and their brand new dealership at Mawson Lakes. Morning to you.
I thought it was an interesting segue. Yeah, nicely done. Will, good morning to you and Pembo. Hey, boys, I want to talk a bit of NFL this morning. Are you buying into it? Are you caught up in all the hoopla and all the bling?
I get it by default in our house because my teenage son is massive NFL. He's more into the Saints than the Crows these days. And now my daughter's suddenly paying attention because she's a Taylor Swift fan.
Well, this is it. So we've got the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday morning, and I think there is a lot of excitement. So, Will, last year there were 115 million people. I'm pretty sure this is just American figures. 115.1 million viewer average for the Super Bowl, which made it the most watched event in history. They think that'll get beaten this year. So if just a few figures for you. If you want to go to the Super Bowl, just in the nosebleed section, so sit right at the top, $12,800. So
you're kidding.
Reasonable amount of money. If you want to take 19 of your mates, so yourself and 20 in a club suite there, come on boys, boys and girls, let's get a group together and have a bit of a day out at the Super Bowl. It'll just cost you $1.5 million. And that's more than the salary of Brock Purdy, who was a chance to be playing, or is playing.
$1.5 million.
Yeah, $1.5 million. So that's not bad. Capacity, it's fascinating. You were talking about gambling, Will, and that's always been a very taboo subject, particularly in America. And Las Vegas was always sort of seen as Sin City, stay away, don't give them any premier sporting events because of this gambling culture.
So was Kansas City originally. Kansas City had one of the biggest red light and gambling districts in the US and was the home of jazz in the early part of the 20th century, along with New Orleans and Chicago.
Well, it's interesting. They're playing, obviously, in this Super Bowl. So this is the fourth smallest venue in Super Bowl history, 65,000 capacity. But Las Vegas now has changed that image of being, this sort of, this city that no one gives major events to. They want to own it. They've obviously got all the money, and they now, with the Golden Vegas Knights doing really well with the ice hockey, and now with the Super Bowl here, what it's going to do for the city, they want to own American sport, and they see this as a big step.
Well, everyone's expanding there, and you're right. Part of it's because now used to you could only place a sports bet legally by going to Nevada, going to Vegas. Well, now you can do it everywhere. Yep. So they've lost that stigma, really. But yeah, you'll see an NBA team there soon, and everyone's following suit. Because there's just
a lot of people. It's a rapidly growing part of the US.
It is.
A lot of people live there.
A lot of money, big population.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, and the Tay factor is going to be huge as well to spike audiences.
When do all the
more.
NRL teams get there? I'll tell you what, there's an idea that nothing could possibly go wrong there, sending the National Rugby League to Las Vegas. Be like the Hangover 4.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Wake up with more than a tiger in your bed.
Good on you, Ranny.
Thanks, boys.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Mostly sunny and 29 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Physio Extra hands-on physio at 6 locations. Even more convenient now with online bookings at physioextra.com.
There are calls for HECS debts to be frozen as young adults battle the crippling cost of living. Gabriel Hodson has more.
Crossbenchers in Canberra are trying to put a freeze on the annual HECS debt height, saying it's unfair in the middle of a cost of living crisis. All up, Australians who've enrolled in tertiary courses at any stage since 1989 are forecast to owe a whopping $84 billion by June. The average student with a HECS debt now owes around $26,000. With a rise in line with inflation, that's set to rise by another $1,000 more. Jackie Lambie and the Greens both want spiralling student debt to stop. The Education Minister doesn't support the freeze, saying that students' HECS debts are based on the principle of paying for what you can afford.
Papua New Guinea's Prime Minister will address a rare joint sitting of federal parliament today. James Marape is expected to focus on the close ties between our countries. He'll also sit down with his counterpart Anthony Albanese, where the next step in a $200 million security deal will be high on the agenda. 2 bomb explosions have hit Pakistan's Baluchistan province a day before the general election, killing at least 27 people and injuring many others. Tensions are high after the jailing of former Prime Minister Imran Khan, whose party won the last election. The BBC's Caroline Davis reports.
Images on social media show cars and motorbikes blown apart by the force of the explosion in Pashin district of Baluchistan. It took place outside the election office of a local independent candidate who officials told the BBC was meeting his polling agent at the time. Within the hour, reports of another explosion also in the province, this time in Kila Saifullah, 150 kilometres away. This explosion had taken place at the party offices of Jumayat Ulema Islam, where local media reports there was a gathering taking place. Police are trying to determine the causes of the blasts.
The British PM will continue his weekly catch-up with King Charles, but it'll be via phone calls, as the 75-year-old is treated for cancer. Prince Harry has been spotted back at Heathrow just 24 hours after he jetted into London to see his father. Prince William has returned to royal duties after his wife had abdominal surgery with an investiture, where he's handed out honours, including one to record goalscorer and former England footballer Ellen White. Lee Street restaurant Fugazi hosted a big Hollywood name yesterday. Henry Winkler, the Fonz, had lunch at the popular eatery, later letting his more than 1 million followers on X know how great it was. Co-owner Laura Sharrod says he enjoyed some Fugazi classics.
So he had the gnocco fritto with the ricotta and honey, the mortadella and salami sandos, and then he had a bowl of the ricotta gnocchi with ossobuco. But I feel like maybe we need to start advertising it as like the Fonz long lunch or something.
Hey, a giant umbrella could be used to help stop the Earth overheating. The idea being floated by physicists and astronomers involves a giant parasol being launched into space to provide shade and to cool the Earth down. Scientists believe the planet could be cooled by 1.5 degrees if just under 2% of the sun's radiation is blocked. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Drive away with a great deal at Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and the brand new Agostino Mitsubishi Mawson Lakes.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Australia's women have gone down to South Africa in a cricket one-day match in North Sydney by 84 runs overnight. The Aussies weren't at their best as they put down 5 chances in the field. Meantime, New Zealand has won the first test against South Africa by a whopping 281 runs at Mount Maunganui. Well, controversial plans to demolish and rebuild the Gabba in Brisbane are dead, according to a new report. Matt Hepworth explains.
$2.7 billion. That's the eye-watering price tag to completely demolish and rebuild the Gabba in a project slated to take several years. It's divided public opinion and is now the centre of a wider review into infrastructure for Brisbane's 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games. But before the review is even released, Olympic power broker John Coates has weighed in, saying the rebuild just doesn't stack up. The International Olympic Vice President president says instead the opening and closing ceremonies should be held at Suncorp Stadium and athletics at QE2 Stadium. The review is expected to be handed down next month.
And in some soccer to finish, Qatar is into the Asian Cup final following a 3-2 win against Iran. They'll now play against Jordan in the final. And that's the 5AA Sport.
And now the 5AA forecast.
Don't miss your chance at the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery's $3.6 million grand prize.
At North Adelaide, road closed due to a police incident. War Memorial Drive between Frome Road and Bunty's Road. Kidman Parker crashed there, Grange Road near Frogmore Road, and Coonlight Gardens, urgent electrical works, Goodwood Road near Windsor Avenue, got speeds at 40. Cameras, West Beach Road, West Beach, and Tusmore Avenue at Tusmore. Let's go! The Caravan Camping and Outdoor Show is back with over 150 exhibitors. February 14 to 18 at the Adelaide Showground. Get your tickets online now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
Sunny and 29 today, ditto tomorrow, sunny 29, Saturday sunny 31, Sunday sunny 33. Right now it's 15. More news as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. This is 5AA Breakfast.
24 to 7. You can interact with the program on the Duttons text line. You can call us on 8223 You can jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook, YouTube live stream, or if you're in the eastern part of Adelaide as we look towards the hills, you can send up smoke signals and David can try and interpret them.
Will, don't ask me to read out any texts just for the time being, because I have done an old guy thing and I've minimised the screen on my Dell computer, and I don't know how to make it appear again, so I need a young person to come in and help me. Thank you, Sam. Here we go. There's a new tab appearing, and the texts. There's a login happening.
Oh, this is.
I don't know do any.
This
of
is thrilling. You should call Basic Computer Operation as a YouTube channel. People can tune in as David. He calls the first opening of Windows XP for 2024 or something.
Here we go. Here we go. All the texts are here. Got them now. Mick says, let's start a campaign to get the NFL to SA. Premier Pete and Treasurer Tom, let's bring the Aussie Bowl to Adelaide like Live Golf and have a huge October long weekend. I like that idea.
Yeah. Not sure the Americans had relinquished the Super Bowl, though.
Probably not. Probably a little bit territorial about it, you'd say. Imagine that. But no, the NRL. Get the NRL here. The NRL Grand Final, not the NFL.
No, he said NFL.
Oh, NFL.
No, he said NFL.
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course.
So they do play a game in Europe every year, so it's not far-flung for a regular season fixture to be. They do a London game all the time in the NFL.
They do one in Monterrey as well, in Mexico.
So they could do one in Adelaide.
Why not?
I would have thought. Adelaide Oval.
Why not?
Would have been fantastic for it.
We got the cash. We've spent public money before on things like that.
Yeah, exactly. With the war chest.
That's right, exactly.
We don't know what's in there, how much is spent, but it's there and it's doing great things.
2 years till the election.
2 years to the election. If I was to ask you about what the big impediments were to Great Britain's plan to make all petrol diesel cars electric by 2035, what would you say some of the impediments might well be?
Well, wouldn't it be supply, that the manufacturers can't make
Supply,
enough cars?
yeah, supply would be a big one.
Wouldn't it be cost?
Cost, absolutely, would be one. These are the sorts of questions that were being discussed by the House of Lords Environment and Climate Change Committee. They also listed as one of the great barriers to get the adoption of electric cars, this man.
So, Doctor.
Bean.
Yes, okay, Dr. Bean. Well, you made it.
Mr. Bean is actually part of the issue. Not Mr. Bean, but the man that portrays him, Rowan Atkinson. It was brought up as evidence in this Senate committee, an opinion piece he wrote in June last year, essentially saying, as an early adopter of the electric car, he's now telling his friends to hold off. Because whilst he finds them to be remarkable feats of engineering, they're a bit soulless.
Yeah.
They're a bit soulless, he said, and in his view, the reality of synthetic fuels and other things might mean they're not necessarily the inevitable next step in car ownership that they're being put forward as.
Yeah, right.
so many people were taken by that article, which all the electric car people have said, we've debunked this and the claims are wrong. But it cut through. It's one of those things that cut through people's psyches, and it's hurt electric car sales in a measurable way in the UK. Rowan Atkinson's take. Now, he's not just Rowan Atkinson, the comedian and very funny actor. He does have a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering. He's not an idiot when it comes to he's not Mr. Bean, shall we say, when he comes to these sorts of things. So he was able to write it with some authority, which is perhaps why it really cut through. But Rowan Atkinson is one of the big issues they've got, they said.
It is funny, isn't it, how things in the media and popular culture can just take a hold. I mean, thinking of the line that, and it can cut both ways. How much residual benefit did Qantas get from being mentioned in Rain Man?
Huge.
Like, Qantas don't crash. You know, and people, like, imagine being Qantas, imagine being whoever the Alan Joyce equivalent at the time was. You just feel like you'd won lotto.
Yeah.
Like, yes. Like a major Hollywood blockbuster.
Yeah,
and it just catches on.
You could have a front page of every paper in Australia that says Qantas doesn't crash, but it probably doesn't register with people like seeing it out of context in a movie or written about by someone you wouldn't expect.
Well, yeah, can't imagine that headline in the current climate.
No.
Be more about, Qantas almost crashed.
Yeah,
well, sometimes, when you're having a bad run, you're having a really bad run. But no, that's interesting. Rowan Atkinson.
I imagine this will be fairly well received. Yesterday, we got confirmation that David Spear's policy position on call flutes has been adopted. We will not see them anymore, and in fact, their absence will be noted as soon as the Dunstan by-election. Here is the Premier yesterday.
I think that there are constituents within South Australia, including the seat of Dunstan, that do want to see the end of single-use plastics occurring unnecessarily.
I don't think anyone's concern with call flutes was about single-use plastics, was it? Or the vast majority just found them annoying and offensive.
They just pop up like Topsy, or Salvation Jane. They're everywhere, and the parties generally. On Green Hill Road near the Oporto, near Coynham Street, there's still a Vote Yes poster. Now that referendum was in September, wasn't it? There's still a Vote Yes poster up.
That's ludicrous.
And it's also, aptly enough, it's been graffitied and says Vote No over the top. But it's still there. People will be driving past it right now.
The man who was the champion of the plan, David Spears, spoke with Stacey Lee during the afternoon's program yesterday.
I reintroduced it shortly after becoming leader of the opposition because I really stood by this. I didn't put posters up in my own electorate. I thought that would be hypocritical in 2022. And I got a lot of encouragement from the community. No doubt this is popular in the community. And we've brought this to a vote more than 10 times in Parliament since I became leader of the party and brought in the private members' bill. Labour have rejected it more than 10 times.
Will anyone miss the core flute? Now, I wouldn't have thought to ask this had I not...
I know people who will.
Well, had I not... Look, you mean the core flute manufacturers?
Printers.
Yeah. But also...
They would make a mozza out of it. It's a big hit for a printing firm. If you've got, like, the sort of... 4-yearly contract to do... I mean, how many core flutes did you see in 2022 that said Labor will fix the ramping crisis? I would hazard a guess that Labor printed 10,000, maybe more,
probably.
maybe 20,000.
Probably. I wouldn't have thought to ask the average punter that question if not for the Voxies that 7 News did down the parade in anticipation of the Dunstan by-election. We've got 2 by-elections happening. The Dunstan by-election that's upcoming, in which there now won't be call flutes, because some people, she said, they thought they had a place.
No, I'd rather have them on the stove poles to see who's there.
There's ways and means that you can put something up, cardboard.
I could just put it online.
Well, we get information in our letterbox, so it doesn't really worry us.
There were a few people that said, no, they sort of liked it as a way to get to know the candidates. I wonder if there were any listeners brave enough to say that they'll miss the call flute.
I really like this one from Rob. It'll be sad not to see 20-year-old pictures of our pollies each election cycle. There used to be a female Liberal MP in Victoria who was notorious for that. I reckon it was a high school graduation photo she was using from the 1950s. She looked like Doris Day.
There's not a race to update them, is there?
No, that's right. Well, yeah, but, I must admit it's a good decade since I changed my photo in the paper. When was the last time we did FIVEAA photos?
Well, you try to make sure that never happens. So.
I would almost rather be strung up for 3 hours, upside down, manacled to some sort of torture device than photographed in the studio. And I hate the process.
It is not fun.
I've brought in about 6 different outfits for you to try on. I don't want to try any of them on.
I think you should just wear the original beef of Chicagoland top that you've got on
What
there, as
about
made
that?
famous in The Bear. All right, let's check traffic. Police and weather are coming up in a moment. Novita Tech can support you to live more independently. The summer sale's on now. Visit novitatech.com.au.
Thanks, Will, and good morning, David. At Cleverley Park, night works running late on South Road as you exit the Southern Expressway. That'll run throughout the morning, so try another way to work to avoid delays if you can. Woodville North, Carvey Park, Trailer and Torrens Road near Hanson Road, and Myrtlebank traffic lights at Glen Osmond Road near Fowlers Road. Cameras this morning, Education Road, Happy Valley and Deakin Avenue at Richmond. Get any size mattress at the price of a single at 40 weeks, plus earn double Qantas points on your purchase. Limited time only. Exclusions and T's and C's apply. Go to better sleep at 40 weeks. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Tired of your rent and bills going up and up and up? Pump them down with EcoVantage. It's easy to switch your existing hot water system for an energy-efficient heat pump, even if you're renting. And thanks to federal and state government facilitated subsidies, it could cost as little as $0. Start saving hundreds off your water heating costs. Hit up your landlord and ask for the EcoVantage switch. Visit ecovantage.com.au. T's and C's apply.
It all started in the back shed. Maybe it started early. Or late. Either way, the Olympic Industry sale means there's no need to wait. With big savings on our entire range of SA engineered sheds, garages, carports and verandas, you can afford to start something big, tough, or tasty in your own backyard. Start something with the Olympic Industry sale. On now.
The Adelaide Hills are most certainly alive. So many new families are now making the tree change, and these people need room to breathe and space to dream. They've chosen to discover what's on the road less travelled.
And if you're heading to the hills up the freeway, well, take the Mount Barker exit, turn left, and soon you'll be discovering the home of Mazda in the hills. Mount Barker Mazda has the best selection of Mazdas just waiting for you.
From the Mazda 2, 3 and 6, right up to the big BT50s and the family-moving CX range of SUVs. They're all on site and available for immediate delivery.
Take the road less travelled to Mazda's home in the hills. Mount Barker Mazda since 1954. Mount Barker Road, Totnes.
I'm high! He's back! As if the Excelsior Hotel wasn't already a crowd favourite, now they're making Sundays a family favourite. Bring the family in on a Sunday and kids eat free with every adult main meal ordered. Yep, kids eat free with every adult main. T's and C's apply. Gotta love the Excelsior Hotel. Now they're making Sundays a family favourite. The Excelsior Hotel. Feels like coming home, but better. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
13 to 7. Let's talk about the weather. John Fisher has the duty this morning at the Bureau of Meteorology. John, good morning to you.
G'day, Dave and Will.
It's a lovely set of numbers, John. It's going to be a beautiful week.
Yeah, it is. The pretty good conditions do continue. Fairly stable pattern at the moment. So, looking at 29 degrees today and sunny. So that's pretty much bang on the average for this time of year, and a few degrees up from what we got to yesterday. Great conditions. Those southerly winds, though, they're still freshen a bit during the afternoon and early evening there, and along the coast they are picking up. So do have a strong wind warning out for some Gulf waters, but other than that, fairly pleasant conditions. And then moving into Friday, pretty much a carbon copy of today, essentially. Maybe those winds a couple of kilometres stronger, but really same day as today, 29 degrees and sunny. And then for the weekend, those temperatures edging up a little bit, but no real end to the sunshine. So 31 degrees for Saturday, and winds still a little bit fresh there on Saturday if you're planning on getting the boat out during the afternoon, but things looking better on Sunday if you're into some lighter winds there. So looking at 33 degrees and sunny for Sunday, and another warm day on the way for Monday, guys, up to 36 degrees.
Lovely. Excellent stuff, John. Thank you. John Fisher from the Bureau of Meteorology.
All right, let's head over to SAPOL. Senior Constable Kimberly Broad's on the line. Kimberly, man's been arrested at Golden Grove after a break-in.
Yeah, good morning. This was just after 3 o'clock this morning. We were called to an alarm activation at a mechanics on Helicon Drive at Golden Grove. And when patrols arrived, they discovered the front door had been smashed in and the till stolen. They also spotted a dark-coloured sedan leaving the area at the time. So Polair was called in to search for the vehicle and actually located it travelling on Park Terrace at Salisbury. It's tracked it through the back streets before it came to a stop on the corner of Diamond Road and Commercial Roads. A driver and passengers run from the vehicle. Police were able to locate the driver on Stratford Road, but unfortunately weren't able to locate the passenger. But we've recovered some cash from the break-in, which was found in the car, and a 40-year-old man from no fixed address. He's currently being interviewed by police, but expected to be charged with serious criminal trespass, theft and traffic offences. So he'll be refused bail to appear in court today.
Kimberly, also, after the chaos of yesterday, this almost sounds like a modest amount of criminality overnight, not for the business affected though. A bloke's been arrested after breaking into a place in Wingfield.
Yeah, this is, again, early this morning, 1:15, we responded to alarm activations at this Wingfield Road, Wingfield business. A man had been seen on the security cameras actually jumping the fence and into the yard. Now, patrols attended with Dog Ops PD Jacks and conducted a search where they've found a suspect on West Terrace with his car parked nearby. So police will allege that he'd stolen copper from the premises. So we've got a 42-year-old man from Enfield. He's been arrested and charged with being unlawfully on premises and theft. He'll be appearing in court in the Port Adelaide Magistrates Court next month.
Thanks for that, Kimberly. Senior Constable Kimberly Broad. Still can't believe yesterday. How often, we're just sitting here doing the show and suddenly all hell breaks loose, so we sort of throw out the schedule and had that breaking at 8, special breaking at 8 with Jade Robert in it. But for all those businesses, and if any of them are listening, we'd love to hear from you, because it was, in the end, it was about 12 businesses in
it was unbelievable.
one day. Torrensville,
out
north.
We got, during the program, hint from SAPOL there was a suspicion they may be linked.
Yeah.
Don't know whether they are or not. That investigation's obviously ongoing. But I genuinely hope they are.
Yeah, for sure.
Much rather it be one gang of idiots than copycats suddenly realising that, oh, you know what's an easy target? People's small family businesses.
Yeah. The thing is that they're not easy targets, though, really, because the amount of money you get... I mean,
you get nothing.
You get $400 in one case.
Yeah, and there's 4 blokes.
It's just crazy, isn't it? So you split that 4 ways. But the thing is, breaking into a joint, as a general rule, you do end up in custody for that. You know, like those sorts of crimes against property, robberies, more often than not do attract jail time. So you want to go to jail for $100? It's absurd.
Yeah, it's much easier ways to make a buck, as we routinely say on the program. It's something we will talk about a little bit later in the morning after 7 o'clock. A couple of the stories we're going to get across. We'll talk more about the Gumtree tragedy in the Parklands, Park 12. Awful story. We'll do some more work on that behind the scenes for you, but we'll get you up to speed with it if you're not across it after 7 o'clock. Also, there was a determination made in the salary cap breach of the Gazer Football Club. If you're enamoured of football, I think you'll want to stick around for that story after 7 o'clock today. And has anyone spotted the Fonz? Has anyone seen the Fonz? Or importantly, did anyone go to his show last night? Henry Winkler in Adelaide. He flew into town yesterday. I chatted with one of our journos at 7, Mitch Sariovsky, who bumped into him at the airport. Just said he's the best bloke. Yeah. He stood there, chatted with him happily for 10 minutes, chatted with everyone who walked past, went and bucked around with his books. He spotted his book that he's written in one of the airport bookstore, and it was sort of kind of half fallen over, and he went and rearranged the stand so it got prime.
Gave himself star billing.
He got prime place. But he just seems like the world's best guy. And as we've been hearing in FIVEAA news, he went to Fugazi last night.
Yeah, the Italian restaurant down in Lee Street.
If you got along and saw Henry Winkler last night, let us know what it was like.
How good was Happy Days? I loved that show as a kid growing up. I remember I think it was on at 5 o'clock. I used to watch it habitually.
Well, I adored that program. We had that stat the other day about it was 50 years since Happy Days started, I think. So it was something like we had the
sounds about right.
The moment in time, and that great comparison was made. The Happy Days was a show in the 70s, nostalgic about life in the 50s. the equivalent today would a show being made today be about being nostalgic for life in 2004.
Which feels like only yesterday.
Which feels like only yesterday.
Amazing, isn't
Which
it?
is peculiar to think.
Yeah.
It's not like a bygone era like the 50s felt like to people in the 70s.
I guess the world changed so fast, though. The post-war era, then the 60s, the swinging 60s.
Well, we always go on about, the world's changing so fast these days. Well,
2004 doesn't feel like
doesn't feel like
any
that long
different.
ago. It's an interesting thought experiment. Let's head to the US. Tim Lester for 7 News joins us. Tim, there's been, well, I guess it's not a development out of the war in Israel at the moment because a ceasefire offer has been rejected.
In pretty blunt terms by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, guys, he says that the plan proposed by Hamas is delusional and won't go anywhere near it. He also says to the Israeli people they are nearing the objective of eliminating Hamas, so why would they stop, essentially? This, though, is against a fair deal of opinion. Hamas here has suggested a 4.5-month, if you like, plan that would take them, they would hope, towards a total ceasefire long term. It would involve the release of all of the remaining hostages, but also the release of a number of Palestinian prisoners, and it would mean that the Israeli troops would need to get out of Gaza quick smart. Netanyahu's not having a bar of it, he says. Interestingly, though, the US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, is in the region and met Netanyahu earlier, and he certainly wants some form of agreement. So it's a setback not just for Hamas, but perhaps for the US as well, as they try to get some agreement going here. So there might be more to play, well, no doubt there is more to play out on this, but for now, yes, Netanyahu firmly rejecting the Hamas peace offer.
Hey, Tim, while we've got you too, Nikki Haley didn't have a very good night overnight, did she? Losing to effectively no candidate in the Nevada primary. Does this mean her goose is now cooked, or is it just medium rare?
Well, I think it's close to cooked. Yeah, it's certainly close to cooked. Extraordinary situation where she loses to none of the above candidates. Literally, scored twice the vote of Nikki Haley. I think she's hanging on by a fingernails in the hope that a court case will bring forward one of these 4 criminal trials against Donald Trump, will cough up evidence and maybe even a guilty verdict. And we know from polls, a number of Trump supporters say, well, I can't support him if he's guilty of a crime. The problem is it's a race against time, and Nikki Haley is losing time fast.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Tim. Thank you for that.
On you, Tim.
Lester for 7 News in the United States. The problem
See Trump's tweet about it?
Yeah, it's very funny.
He said he's waiting for her to come out and claim victory after she got 31% and none of the above got 67%.
It's peculiar how they do things in Nevada. So they have a primary and a caucus. So Trump wasn't on the primary ballot, but will be on the caucus ballot, and Haley was on the primary ballot, but won't be on the caucus ballot because of a law that's in place about who runs the election there, the state or the party. And the party said, well, we don't believe the state's won. And so they end up basically voting twice. The difficulty for Nikki Haley is the timing. She's got to go to California. She's got a function in California she's meant to be going to in the next couple of days to drum up support amongst millionaires and the kind of people that are donors. And the last impression she's left at the polling booth is getting done 2-1 by candidate not named.
Yeah, not a good look.
Tough to make that pitch.
How fascinating is the American political system? I find it, watching their elections, with each state has
different
number
rules.
of college votes based on how big its population is. So a tiny one like Vermont is like, 4?
Yeah.
Then Florida or California, New York are gigantic. But watching all the states as the voting comes in, it's like Super Bowl-esque, don't you think?
It is, and it's also how the Americans do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's very dramatic, the coverage. And
we covered the election last time when Trump won, didn't we?
Did we? I can't remember.
Yeah, we came in. We did an afternoon show, a little 1-hour package, because Patrick
that's
Dangerfield
right.
was texting
Exactly
us during the show.
Right, we did too.
Paddy Dangerfield was watching it.
That's right, I forgot that.
Not long before he left Adelaide.
Andrew,
after being our regular guest.
Andrew on the Duttons text line says Henry Winkler was great in Arrested Development. Everyone's been on that brilliant show. Great show. Couldn't agree more. He was fantastic on it. Very funny
And
man.
Rob asks, with the amount of sightings lately, maybe the Fonz could head down to Semaphore and jump the shark for us.
Wouldn't
Imagine
that
if
be
he
a
did.
stunt? Jump a live shark.
Could have got him down to Gore on the weekend. That 4 metre.
One of the great TV characters, the Fonz. We might ask about great TV characters. We've got $100 Faster Pasta voucher to give away. We'll do that just after 7 o'clock.
Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth the trip, and now there's Barossa Mazda, Murray Street, Nuriapa. SA's newest Mazda dealership is now open. For 40 years, Steinborner has provided South Australians with outstanding customer service, exceptional value, and a large selection of new, used, and demo vehicles. The Steinborner story continues with the opening of their new state-of-the-art Mazda dealership in Barossa Valley. Barossa Mazda. It's well worth the trip. barossamazda.com.au.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. The National Tiles famous once-a-year summer spend and save must end Sunday. Yes, the National Tiles famous once-a-year summer spend and save must end this Sunday. Spend $4,000 and will only charge you $2,750. Or spend $2,000 and will only charge you $1,450. But you'll have to be quick. Our famous annual summer spend and save must end this Sunday.
Get a read on your year. Get better at money stuff. Get a different point of view. Get your travel on and get in the game. Get school lunches absolutely nailed. Get more out of 24 with The Advertiser. We're for you.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Mostly sunny and 29 today with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning. I'm Graham Goodings.
Getting fit your New Year's resolution? Book a Pilates and group exercise class at Physio Extra. 6 locations.
Investigations are continuing into the death of a woman crushed by a tree in the North Adelaide Parklands yesterday. She was sitting under the gum tree near the University of Adelaide soccer ground when part of the trunk came crashing down on top of her. Despite the efforts of paramedics, she died at the scene. Casuals will be given extra protection after Labor secured enough support to pass the next stage of its workplace laws. Federal Politics Editor Michael Packey.
The Greens and 2 independents have given the Albanese government the numbers it needs to pass the next phase of its IR laws. Casuals will have a greater ability to switch to part or full-time work, while gig economy workers like food delivery riders will have extra safeguards. Workers will also have the right to disconnect, meaning bosses will be prevented from calling or emailing staff after hours, except in emergencies. Businesses have slammed the deal, arguing the government is essentially legislating what should be common sense.
Supermarkets, banks, energy companies and airlines have been criticised in a union-backed inquiry into soaring costs. The probe has found a lack of competition is driving up prices across the economy. It's recommending major government intervention to break up monopolies and better regulate consumer costs. There are calls for HECS debts to be frozen as young adults battle the crippling cost of living. Gabriel Hodson has more.
Crossbenchers in Canberra are trying to put a freeze on the annual HECS debt height, saying it's unfair in the middle of a cost of living crisis. All up, Australians who've enrolled in tertiary courses at any stage since 1989 are forecast to owe a whopping $84 billion by June. The average student with a HECS debt now owes around $26,000. With a rise in line with inflation, that's set to rise by another $1,000 more. Jackie Lambie and the Greens both want spiralling student debt to stop. The Education Minister doesn't support the freeze, saying that students' HECS debts are based on the principle of paying for what you can afford.
There are calls to upgrade the safety in Australian cars in line with Europe. It includes speed limiters, lane change alerts and automated crash awareness braking. But National Motoring Editor at News Corp, Richard Blackburn, says it comes at a cost.
A lot of cars that are 5-star ANCAP cars have them, but they all cost money too. Which is an issue when you look at, you could buy a car for $19,990 a few years ago. That same car's about $30,000.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Get immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and their brand new dealership at Mawson Lakes.
Good morning, Tom Wren.
Good morning to you as well, Graham. Let's start with some footy. Port Adelaide forward Sam Powell-Pepper says he hopes to lead by example as he settles into his new leadership role. The 26-year-old has been promoted into the leadership group for this season and says he wants his actions to do the talking.
Not the person to kind of speak up for the sake of it. You know, I pick and choose my words, but mainly, leading by my actions.
Meantime, voting has now closed for the final member-elected position, with either Bruce Abernathy or Warren Tredrea set to be confirmed at tomorrow night's AGM. Well, the Asian Cup finalists have been confirmed, with host nation Qatar to face Jordan on Sunday morning. Almoez Ali scoring a late winner as Qatar downed Iran 3-2 overnight.
Less than 10 minutes to go here. Stoppage time as well, of course. It's come into Almoez Ali. He's onside, and Almoez Ali makes it 3-2. Played onside by Ramin Rezayan. What a fine finish on the spin.
Yesterday it was Jordan who beat South Korea 2-0. And Australia has gone down in its women's one-dayer against South Africa by 84 runs. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Don't miss your chance at the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery's $3.6 million grand prize.
G'day there at Clovelly Park. Night works running late on South Road as you exit the Summit Expressway. That'll run throughout the morning, so try another way to avoid delays today. Woodville North, Carvey Park, Trailer on Torrens Road near Hanson Road. Myrtle Bank, traffic lights out of action. Glen Osmond Road near Fowlers Road. And got works at Windsor Gardens at Olds Road near Lagonda Drive. Cameras made Terrace Brooklyn Park and Military Road at West Beach. The Audi Summer Demonstrator Sale event is on now with exceptional opportunities on select demonstrator models at your Audi dealer until February 29. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Let's look at the 5AA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
Sunny and 29 today. Sunny again tomorrow and 29. Saturday, sunny 31. Sunday, ditto, sunny 33. Right now it's 14. More news as it happens on 5AA.
David
Been a while since we've had a stunt with props for him to sink his teeth into. I think he's champing at the bit following the government's ambulance response time cardboard cutout arrangement they put together yesterday. But we'll get Matt's take after 7:30. And then a little bit later in the morning, we're talking gambling in advertising following the GWS campaign and the way it stands in contrast to Adelaide United. Nathan Cosmina, the CEO of Adelaide United, will be on the show after 8:30 today. But we're on Fonzie Watch. Hey! Anyone who's seen Henry Winkler in town, let us know. I've seen some pictures popping up on social media. He seems like the world's most affable guy.
He's one of the most recognisable people too, because he's quite ageless. He's 78 years old.
Yeah.
He still looks exactly the same way he always has.
Seems like he's happy to stop with it for everyone, with a chat for anyone who comes up to him. He takes a photo.
Yeah.
He did his show last night. If you got along to that, we'd love to hear what that was like too. 8223 0000. Or you can text us on 0448 08 1395. That's the Duttons text line.
Text us if you've seen any other members of Happy Days.
Absolutely.
Like you've maybe seen Potsy or Ralph Mouth.
We have a $100 faster pasta voucher to give away. The Fonz is, of course, undoubtedly, inarguably, one of the great TV characters of all time. Who is the greatest TV character of all time? It could well be the Fonz. Let us know what you think. Here is a bit of him on 7 News last night, chatting with Mitch Sariovsky.
I had a dream when I was 7 in my apartment in New York City. And here I am in Adelaide. I rode a motorcycle for 17 seconds in the beginning of Happy Days. That was it.
I get the feeling he's told all these stories a million times, but he's happy to tell them 10 million more.
Yeah.
There's no part of him that seems jaded by his experience. The guy seems like just the best bloke. He just seems like the happiest guy.
It's funny, isn't it? Because you get some celebs who... I'm not going to be defined by that one thing I did.
Yes.
And my publicist has probably already told you, I don't even want to talk about it. All right, well,
He even spoke about jumping the shark. I mean, how many times would he have been asked about that?
Yeah.
Graham went to the show last night. What did you think, Graham?
It was wonderful, thanks. Yes, yeah, but you're right. The first half where he just recounted anecdotes which he'd told 1,000 times was pretty good. But the best bit was the second half where he just answered random questions from the audience. And you're quite right. He came across as the nicest bloke ever.
Mm. Was there much? Yeah. Did he have video footage? Was that part of the show too, Graham? Old excerpts from Happy Days?
Just slides.
Yeah, right. Oh, how nice.
I thought that one of the most interesting things was all the stories he told about people he'd met.
Mm.
So Paul McCartney stopped him on the street one day in New York, and they had a big chat. And Paul McCartney told all the lookers on to go away. They were having a personal chat, and told Winkler that we must keep in touch. Here's my phone number.
Oh, really?
And then he said, I rang him so many times and he never picked up, and I've never seen him since.
Seriously?
Thank you, Graham.
Oh, that's funny.
He famously recently sent Ange Postecoglou a poster after Tottenham beat Liverpool, and
Really?
Ange revealed his hero in life was the Fonz. And he put a video up of him saying, well, I'm happy to send you a poster. He signed it and sent it to him.
How cool.
Is Fonz the greatest TV character of all time? You tell us. Who is the greatest? If it's not the Fonz, greatest TV character of all time, we'll give you someone a Faster Pasta voucher. $100 voucher goes a long, long way. 8223 You can text us on 0448 08 1395 as well. In the meantime, let's jump into some of the other news that's going around Adelaide this morning. Headlined by the tragic story that broke at about 2:30 p.m. yesterday, when a young woman in her 20s was killed sitting under a gum tree at the University of Adelaide soccer ground on War Memorial Drive. A piece of trunk that the emergency services estimated weighed somewhere between 10 and 15 tonnes, fell on her, 10 and 15 tonnes. Have a listen to some of the people who were in the Oval at the time. There was people and kids being dropped off for soccer practice when this was all going on.
And I don't think the wind's that bad either, so it's pretty devastating that happened.
A couple of weeks ago, that same tree dropped a huge limb across the Oval when we had some winds, so it's only sort of a matter of time that this would happen.
Yeah, the MFS was on the site and had not much to do, quite tragically, as it turned out.
We got here within just a few minutes, and knowing that there was someone trapped underneath it, we knew we were going to have to swing into some life support and first aid, but unfortunately there was nothing we could do.
It's just terrible, isn't it? And it's such a busy part of the parklands. There's so many clubs. I know that a lot of the uni soccer clubs, community soccer clubs and football clubs as well use it. A lot of people just use it for private recreation. But, just the odds of it happening are just extraordinary. And I just wonder, the City Council is looking at the state of the tree. The Lord Mayor, Dr. Jane Lomax-Smith, was quite sort of, muted. She obviously expressed her condolences, but beyond that said, I can't really talk about it too much. But I wonder if the council's going to do like a wide-ranging audit of other trees. Where do you start, though?
Well, this is the problem. Jane Lomax-Smith, the Lord Mayor, said there will be an official investigation. I presume the point of that is to try and determine whether do they need to improve practices. Is there any way you could reduce the chance of this happening? It does seem freak, though, doesn't it? And despite the fact we've had 2 in 2 weeks, it's hard to imagine much more can be done to make the assessment of a style of tree that we just. I mean, most Australians get taught it. They unpredictably drop limbs.
Stuart on the Dutton's text line says, garden experts say it's the nature of gum trees to drop branches at any time. It's their natural life cycle. Just take a look at the branch litter in the Mount Lofty Ranges. That's true, but there's a difference between trees dropping branches and trees failing. It sounds like this tree failed.
Yeah, it does. You're right. It does seem more dramatic than that. So we'll await the outcome of that investigation. The right to disconnect laws are going to become a reality. I thought this was a sort of a fantastic Canberra thought bubble when it first popped up, but it sounds like it's going to become reality. Have a listen. This is 7 News recounting all the changes that will take place in workplaces when this law will get through.
It will give employees the right to ignore late-night emails and calls, but it may not stop employers from still trying to get in touch after hours. The laws are really designed to give employees a legal avenue if they feel like their ability to switch off and disconnect after hours has been taken away. They will now be able to go to the Fair Work Commission. It's not for every circumstance, but rather when there are unreasonable requests outside of work hours. The Greens now have the support of the crossbench, Lydia Thorpe and David Pocock, backing the move. But a couple of the original demands were wound back. There won't be fines for employers who reach out. And if you work in a different time zone, are on call if there's an emergency, or are managing rosters, bosses will still be able to get in touch after hours. The change is now formally included in Labor's Closing Loopholes Bill.
There does seem to be a growing view on that side of politics that work of itself, and geez, the great working from home con is part of that. Work is, quite frankly, a bit of an inconvenience. I would think most employers, I'm sure there'll be people about to text you or ring and go, no, I'll tell you a story on the quiet about my boss, who's a total pain in the you-know-what. But I would think most employers are smart enough and decent enough to know that a surefire way to get an unhappy workforce is to hassle people out of hours. Yep. I don't think they would ever do it. I cannot recall in the 10 years I've been working here at FIVEAA, well, our working day's weird, but I can't remember ever being rung at all by anyone from FIVEAA at dinner time at home. Like, have you ever had a call from our boss at 7 PM?
Yeah, but our work is a bit more like people who make chairs work. It's sort of, you make one today and then you make another one tomorrow. It's more for people who've, that report we've got that's due next week, it needs to be in tomorrow. Needs to be in tomorrow now. So
hop to it.
6 AM meeting, all right? Like that kind of, I think it's that kind of workplace is the ones that said. The problem I have is it does run counter, and is your home the workplace or not?
Well, this is it.
Because
be careful the way working from home has become the new normal for so many people. Sorry, I shouldn't have said new normal. I'm just going to slap myself. There we go. Working at home has become the norm for so many people.
Like, if the home's sacrosanct, go to work.
Yeah. That's a good argument for going to work, because when you're at work, you know you're at work.
I agree. I think that's a great argument for going to work. Here's the Prime Minister speaking about the changes on 9 News last night.
What we're simply saying is that someone who's not being paid 24 hours a day shouldn't be penalised if they're not online and available 24 hours a day.
Let us know what you think, folks. 8223 000. You can text us on 0448 08 1395. The Duttons text line, Big 10 Ford, GWM Haval, Hyundai, Isuzu, Ute, Mazda, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Ram, Subaru and Volkswagen. Duttons, easy to do business with. Couple of nominations coming in for greatest TV characters of all time on the text line. But let's take some calls first. They're in the running to win a $100 Faster Pasta voucher. Frank in Birkenhead, good morning.
Hi, good morning, guys. Look, firstly, I always enjoy your show. It's always very informative.
Thanks,
and interactive on a broad range of subjects. This might be before your time, guys, I think. A satirical TV comedian I thought was Gary McDonald, who played Norman Gunston in the mid to 1970s. He was a classic. I don't think you remember him, but some of the listeners might.
Yeah.
Oh, no, absolutely.
I can remember he was standing next to Bob Hawke on November 11, 1975, the day that Gough Whitlam was dismissed, because he got Malcolm Fraser confused with Joe Frazier.
Thank you, Frank.
Who was it? Was her name Sally Struthers? Was it an American woman that Norman Gunston interviewed, and she just totally lost her composure during the interview, and she started saying, "I'm so sorry, but what's that all over your face?"
Mark in Highbury, greatest TV character of all time.
Good morning, how you going?
Good, thanks, Mark.
Good. I reckon Klinger from MASH.
Oh, yeah,
Good
good one.
MASH.
Good one.
Going to make Sam Datto happy if we get MASH nominations coming through. On the Duttons text line, a few.
Rob nominated Kramer from Seinfeld, and Emma nominated an animal, Fatso the wombat. from
Fatso
a country
Wombat.
practice.
Luke and Craigmore, greatest TV character of all time.
Good morning, fellas. There's no way anyone could possibly beat or come close to beating Russell Coight.
Russell Coight. Yes, Glenn Robbins. What a great character. That show was so funny.
The ads that he does are good
and I'm
too.
sure it's... I'm guessing it's only funny in Australia, that show too.
Yeah. Well, there's that sort of certain Jack Absalom style, you know.
I always like when they zoom in and he'd handshake someone and they do the cutaway. It was clearly recorded later because it would be two different people entirely. Mark in Grange, good morning.
Paul Hogan, especially when you did the village people, the Australian-style village people. That was a great sketch.
Certainly a great comedic actor, Paul Hogan. Thank you, Mark. Raymond in Salisbury, greatest TV character of all time.
It's without doubt. It's unarguable. Ted Bullpitt.
Not the Kingswood. I'm surprised.
Not the Kingswood.
Not the Kingswood.
Leave the money on the fridge.
That's right.
Got another vote for Russell Coight, actually. Bob says the Fonz is definitely a contender for the most likeable TV character, but for me it's Russell Coight. Very charismatic, and he is true blue.
Hey, just in relation to our chat about being hassled out of hours at work, and I had this in the back of my mind as we were talking about it, because I was thinking about it the other night at parent-teacher night, but a mate of mine who's a teacher texted me on my own phone and said, mate, try being a teacher.
Oh.
Teachers would cop it, because parents would, I mean, you know, by definition, most parents are getting home after 5.
Yep.
That's when they sit down and go, oh, I need to talk to you about something.
Well, I didn't realise, being out of school for so long and not having a school-age child yet, the way in which there are these apps that the teachers are on to field questions essentially at all hours of the day.
Well, we get lengthy emails, I would say. Not emails, but like seesaws. We'd get...
Yeah, right, Seesaw. That's an app, is
yeah,
it?
that's
Okay.
the app. But I'm stunned by the application and diligence of our primary school teachers. They will send lengthy messages on average once a fortnight, maybe more. But, you know, you multiply that by 30 kids in the class... That's
their out-of-hours workload's huge.
Sounds like Andrew Gold's taken over the program, Will.
Does it? Hang on.
No.
Up yours,
How have you still got that damn
I didn't
thing?
know it was there. Brett in Noarlunga Downs, good morning.
Good morning, fellas. David, I'm about the same age as you. My favourite show pretty much was Prisoner and Queen Bee.
Oh, yeah, good one. Prisoner. That's a good one.
Yeah, Prisoner's
iconic
good.
Australian television.
Thank
I'm
you.
amazed no one's mentioned Basil Fawlty.
Yeah.
He's my choice.
Good nomination. Mine's David Brent from The Office.
Oh,
Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
I've never laughed so hard in my entire life as watching that show. Speaking of The Office, Dylan texted us on the Dutton's text line saying, on the right to disconnect, laws are definitely needed. I once had a school principal ring me on a Sunday morning, 7:14 a.m, who needed help with a private computer problem. I did help him, but I was young and naive. Now I know better. It's good to have a legal option to say no.
I reckon there's a 2-word response to that one. Get stuffed. Seriously, that's
taking the mickey. Who do we like for the $100 Faster Pasta voucher?
I reckon we will give it to Brett.
Okay, Brett, you've got $100 worth of Faster Pasta coming your way. Order takeaway from Faster Pasta and get a variety like burgers, you can get schnitties, you can get pasta, of course, pizzas, salads, seafood, and much more. Time to check traffic thanks to Novita Tech. They can support you to live more independently. The summer sale's on now. Visit novitatech.com.au.
She's a dog's breakfast this morning at Clovelly Park. Will, night work's running late on South Road as you exit the Southern Expressway. That's going to run throughout the morning. It's going to get really heavy, so try Ailofs Road or Marion Road to avoid that. Myrtle Bank, traffic lights out of action. Glen Osmond Road near Fowlers Road. We're busy. Brighton Road, Brighton. Quite slow at Winvale, the Golden Way near Grenfell Road. And got a camera at Crittenden Road at Findham. Brother crazy deal on a new LG TV at JB Hi-Fi. Like $1,600 off a 65-inch OLED. JB's 2023 LG TV run out on now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
here at Meals on Wheels at Hilton. Let's talk about vaping, because schools at the moment look like being the front line in helping addicted kids get off vaping. The adjacent Professor Terry Slevin.
It is a serious public health challenge.
Weekday mornings from 9.
It's great that you're down with the folks at Meals on Wheels who are tackling another public health challenge, the issues around food security.
On 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Hi, I'm Peter Berkowitz from Berkowitz Furniture. Our summer stock clearance sale is on now, and you'll save up to 40%. Save on our comfortable leather and fabric sofas, sofa beds, recliners, dining tables, dining chairs, including our Australian-made collection. Be part of our massive summer stock clearance sale and save up to 40%. But hurry, sale ends this Sunday. At Berkowitz, we're not just a furniture store, we're a furniture family. Mile End Homemaker Centre and online.
Deal or No Deal is giving away 100 grand and you could win a share of it. Just watch Deal or No Deal 6 p.m. weeknights on 10. Grab the code word, then head to 10 Play for your chance to win.
T's and C's apply.
Now, if you're fitting out a workshop, a shed or rooms around the house, looking for extra storage, forget the flat pack. Go Sharman Shelving all the way.
And here's the thing we love about Sharman Shelving. It's all done for you. It's not flat packed. You're not going to have missing parts. You're not going to have instructions that don't make any sense or you can't read or they're in another language. The experts at Sharman Shelving will take care of it for you.
You know, my Sharman Shelving setup, my potting bench, garden bench, it's been outside since the start of the COVID pandemic and it still looks brand new. I just dust it off and it's just sitting there gleaming. I love it. Call Sharman Shelving. They'll come out, give you a free measuring quote, then deliver and assemble it all for you.
If the umbrella plan to cool the earth goes pear-shaped, the safest place on the planet will be inside your Sharman shelf.
Well, you know,
you could take refuge in there.
A lot of the people who make them, they used to make cars. They used to make cars out of Holton. So they're really, really good at bolting things together and building things to last. When it comes to storage solutions, everyone needs a little Sharman in their life. 412 North East Road, Windsor Gardens, sharmanshelving.com.au. They sell Barbies as well. Or take a look on Facebook.
It's Edward from Edwardstown Mazda, South Australia's #1 destination for Mazda. Edwardstown Mazda has a very serious offer. So this is my most serious voice. This month's get savings equal to the on-road costs, plus free servicing on all 2023 plates. T's and C's apply. I'm Edward from Edwardstown Mazda, and I'm being very serious right now.
A sloth can slow down its heartbeat, allowing it to hold its breath for 40 minutes. You can slow down, relax, and take a seat for as many minutes as you want in a compact director's chair from Aldi for $59.99. With a bamboo armrest trim and a fold-away side table, it's special you can buy at the Aldi Caravanning Sale this Saturday. Range differs between stores while stocks last. Aldi, good, different.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. This is 5AA Breakfast.
26 after 7. Timmy Jennifer's got an idea to solve the inequality in the AFL draw. We'll hear it in just a moment. First, though, June and Woodcroft is called in. June, good morning to you.
Oh, yes, good morning. Look, that terrible accident that happened to that woman yesterday brings back a very, very sad time for me. About 20 years ago, I was playing pennant golf in a southern suburbs golf club, and a woman was killed by a falling branch. Her ball was just under the tree, and apparently she said to her caddy, "This tree is talking to me," and the next thing, a big branch fell and killed her instantly.
Oh, God.
We were playing a couple of holes ahead of her. We heard the scream, and we actually thought someone had got a hole in one. It was just...
Yeah.
But then when I really thought about it, it was like a terrible, terrible scream. And it just goes to show you how dangerous those gum trees are. Yeah, and she was only a young woman. Strangely enough, she was from the North Adelaide Golf Club.
Oh, God.
That's shocking, June.
Oh, what an awful story. Thank you for sharing it, though, June.
They do make a sound before branches drop. You hear this, and then you hear the whoosh. but they weigh so much. They just plummet. It's terrible.
We're going to get in touch with an expert to talk more about this over the course of the morning. So stay listening. We will be speaking to an arborist or an expert before 9 o'clock. Thank you, June. We appreciate you calling in with that harrowing story. It's 28 minutes after 7. Let's talk sport briefly before 5AA News. Get $10 off your favourite cut of steak Thursdays at the Excelsior Hotel. You just know it's a Barreau hotel. Have a listen to Timmy G's idea to fix the AFL fixture.
They talk about equalisation all the time, so I'm going to try and equalise this. So I'm saying we play everybody once. That's 17 games.
Bang.
Correct? Then round 18 is your second time you play your rival. So for us, it's obviously showdown. So showdown becomes round 18. Okay?
Yep.
No arguments. You've got Sydney GWS, Brisbane Gold Coast, all that happening. Okay? What happens though is there is a bye after that. So get rid of the 3-week rolling bye that they do. You have a bye. And after round 18, there is a draw done. It is a lottery. It's a lottery. Your last 5 games is a lottery. It'll be Adelaide pulled out of a hat is playing Melbourne. Rightio. The home game is Adelaide's. You get 3 home, 2 away, depending on what you've had prior. Okay? So just say Adelaide get the 3 home. So you've got that. Adelaide and Melbourne, done. And then you pull out, Port Adelaide playing Brisbane. Wherever the teams are on the ladder, you're going to get a mixed bag of lollies, and it's just the luck of the draw and who you play. Because a lot of people said play the top third versus the middle third versus the bottom third, but that's an advantage to somebody who's, say, on the cusp with, 13th position, but only 2 games out the 8. Well, they can beat all those bottom sides and go straight in. So it's not fair.
No.
This is more of a fair draw because it's a lottery. You don't know what you're going to get. And you know what? If you're good enough, you'll make it.
It's an interesting idea.
I like the idea that you have a fixed 17 games a year that are against, you play every team once.
Yeah, totally. I love that.
And then over a 2-year period, everyone plays everyone home and away. I think that'd be great. You won't have this period, Carlton haven't come to Adelaide Oval for 8 years type garbage that we get.
Yeah.
Or
or Collingwood never go to Geelong.
That's right. If they could just iron that out, I actually don't care how they sort out the rest of the draw.
Yeah, I agree.
Everyone should play everyone home and away over the course of a 2-year period at their ground. None of this, we've got to do it, maximise all that kind of garbage.
Yes.
Integrity of the competition should come first, but
no.
I like it,
ideas,
Timmy.
man. Tim.
Like it. More
ideas,
Timmy ideas on the sports show tonight. Make sure you're listening in. 5AA News time. Government had a stunt yesterday. You don't see too many stunts from the government to demonstrate their success in terms of ambulance response times. What did Matt Abraham make of it? You'll find out next.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 29 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Physio Extra hands-on physio at 6 locations. Even more convenient now with online bookings at physioextra.com.
Police are preparing a report for the coroner after a woman died after being struck by a large tree branch at North Adelaide. Yesterday afternoon, police and emergency services were called to War Memorial Drive after a large branch fell from a gum tree, crushing the 22-year-old woman. Paramedics were unable to revive her, and she died at the scene. The state government is claiming its ban on shopping centre parking fees has saved individual workers at Tea Tree Plaza and West Lakes close to $10,000 over the last 12 months. Today marks 1 year since the Private Parking Areas Amendment Bill commenced, which protects motorists from paying for parking at any shopping centre with a gross lettable area of 34,000 square metres. In other major shopping centres where this has been allowed to occur, it can cost workers $35 a day for parking. Trade Minister Nick Champion says it's a major win for small business and the community. Papua New Guinea's Prime Minister is in Canberra for key talks on defence and regional security. Federal Politics reporter Zach De Silva.
Nearly 50 years since PNG declared independence from Australia, Prime Minister James Marape will become the first Pacific leader to address federal parliament. The ties between our countries will be top of the agenda in his speech amid rising tensions in the region. Mr Marape will also sit down with his counterpart Anthony Albanese to discuss PNG's own security in the wake of deadly rioting last month. The chaos is putting pressure on the Pacific leader back home. He'll face calls to resign when he returns to Port Moresby. In Canberra, Zach De Silva, 9 News.
Bosses will be restricted from calling staff after hours as part of sweeping changes to Australia's industrial relations system. The federal government has won the support of the Greens and 2 independents to pass the next stage of its IR reforms. Business groups have slammed some of the changes, arguing they have not been properly consulted. A man has been arrested following a break-in at a Golden Grove car mechanic business this morning. When police arrived at the scene, they saw a dark-coloured sedan leaving the area and called in Polair to search for the vehicle. Senior Constable Kimberly Broad says it was followed through the back streets of Salisbury, where it eventually stopped.
A driver and passengers run from the vehicle. Police were able to locate the driver on Stratford Road, but unfortunately weren't able to locate the passenger. But we've recovered some cash from the break-in, which was found in the car, and a 40-year-old man from no fixed address. He's currently being interviewed by police.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Drive away with a great deal at Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and the brand new Agostino Mitsubishi Mawson Lakes.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Let's start with cricket. Australia's women's side has suffered its first ever one-day loss to South Africa, going down by 84 runs. The series is now level at 1 game apiece with 1 game to play. Plenty of soccer around, and Qatar's into the Asian Cup final following a dramatic 3-2 win against Iran. They'll now play against Jordan in the final. Meantime, it's heading into the second half of FA Cup action this morning. Chelsea's currently 2-0 up against Aston Villa, while Nottingham Forest and Bristol City are locked at 1-1. And in the Africa Cup of Nations, Nigeria is through to the final after beating South Africa on penalties, and they'll meet the winner of the other semi-final, which is currently being played between the Ivory Coast and Congo. Scores locked at 0-0 heading into the second half. Well, women's competition is finally getting underway at Pipeline in the first event of the World Surf Tour. On the men's side of things, Aussie Ethan Ewing has continued his stunning form from last year, beating compatriot Liam O'Brien and Kelly Slater to reach the quarterfinals. He says he's got the hang of local conditions in Hawaii.
That heat against Kelly felt really good because I hadn't broken through that round before, and then against Liam, he's been a tough competitor. He beat me here last year, so I think just the things I've learnt over the years and feeling a bit more comfortable here is helping me out.
Audio there, courtesy of Fox Sports. Graham, good to see the Aussies doing well. That is the 5AA Sport.
Good on you, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Don't miss your chance at the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery's $3.6 million grand prize.
We're seeing a heap of delays this morning at Clovelly Park. Got night works running late on South Road as you exit the Southern Expressway. That's going to run throughout the morning, so maybe try Ailofts Road or Marion Road to avoid that. Myrtle Bank, traffic lights out Glen Osmond Road near Fowlers Road. Slow for works at Glenside. Fullerton Road near Mulberry Road with cameras this morning. Delphi Terrace, Glenelg North and Balcombe Avenue at Findon. Win over $349 million in today's USA Power Lotto. Get more zeros in your life with Australia's own lotteryoffice.com.au. Hurry, draw closes in just a few hours. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
Sunny and 29 today. Ditto tomorrow, sunny 29. Saturday, sunny 31. Still sunny Sunday, 33. Right now it's 14. More news as it happens on 5AA.
There are 3 kinds of people in life, Dave.
Yeah.
There's TKD trade members who get trade pricing at Toolkit Depot, same-day quotes, express delivery options and tons of other benefits.
That's us.
Yeah. Then there's TKD club members who get discount pricing, exclusive deals and more.
That's anyone who doesn't have an ABN, right?
Yeah.
Wait, what's the third kind of people?
Those who don't realise it's free to join, Dave.
Whoa, that's sad.
Become a TKD trade or club member now at Toolkit Depot. Everything you need to get the job done.
The Unley Road Association presents An Evening Under the Stars, a magical outdoor concert featuring Adelaide's leading cover band Supernova. Bring a rug or chair, relax and enjoy this free family-friendly outdoor event. Dine on Unley Road beforehand and top up with food stalls and light refreshments at the event. Come along and support local Unley Road businesses and the Jodie Lee Foundation. An Evening Under the Stars, Saturday, February 10th at Unley Soldiers Memorial Gardens from 6 p.m. Show starts 7:45.
If you're thinking of building or you're renovating your kitchen, well, you've got a lot of choices to make. But the first choice you should make is Smeg. We have an amazing Smeg showroom right here in Adelaide. I was in there not so long ago. It's great to see. Debney Distributors is in Dudley Park, and inside you'll see the full range of Smeg appliances, not just appliances, but built-ins, ovens, cooktops, everything they do, it all looks spectacular. They do dishwashers, fridges too. In fact, wine cellars. And you know about the kettles and toasters because we've been giving away on the program every Wednesday for the last year or so. Smeg seamlessly pairs powerful performance with architectural design. They even do cooking demonstrations up there. It's like the MasterChef kitchen, except it looks better. Smeg has also been proudly made in Italy since 1948. Their colour, design and technology is world famous. Smeg, it's technology with style. Visit the Smeg showroom today at Debney Distributors, Harrison Road, Dudley Park.
Breaking news. Sky News Australia can reveal.
In a major development,
You can stream your favourite Sky News shows. It's a brand new way to join the battle of ideas.
Here, you won't hear an echo.
Debate is essential to a healthy democracy.
access the latest news, sport and weather.
Plus, the opinion that you won't find anywhere else. Your favourite shows, one app. Stream for $5 a month. Download the Sky News Australia app right now. Conditions apply.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. This is 5AA Breakfast.
Out of 10, every time.
Matthew Abraham on 5AA Breakfast.
Yeah, 21 minutes to 8. The real Matt Abraham without cardboard cutout here in the 5AA Breakfast studio with us. Matt, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, David.
Stunts. Long history of stunts in politics.
Yes.
Not something you'd normally expect from an incumbent government that's, doing very well in a sort of numerical sense in the parliament. They reek a bit of desperation, don't they, Matt?
Well, it was weird yesterday. It really, I had to take a double take seeing the vision on TV on 7 News.
Thank you.
Where what the government's done is it's got all these little cardboard cutouts of people with a tick on them and put them in a botanic park or gardens or wherever, and then had a press conference saying each one of these represents somebody who, the increased number of people who were picked up on time by an ambulance. Didn't give a breakdown of how many of those people spent time in the ambulance ramping.
Yeah.
But I looked at that and thought, wow.
Maybe they didn't have enough cardboard cutouts for all the hours that people spent last month.
Exactly. And I looked at that and thought, well, that must be starting to bite. The ramping stuff must be starting to bite on the government, because it's unusual for a government to need to do that or to feel it needs to do that. And in opposition, that sort of stuff is very effective. I mean, it ran in opposition who filled the Parliament, House of Assembly, with cardboard cutouts of Dean Brown and John Olsen, which was quite an outrageous stunt. But he was saying, look, if you don't register a protest against these guys, this Parliament's going to end up just being filled with these people. There won't be a viable opposition. And that's an election he nearly won. Set up his, minority government the next term. So, and it's like in a state that gave the world Nick Xenophon. We are tuned to stunts, but they work a lot more effectively in opposition, I think. They
lack gravitas, and the thing is, if you're Nick Xenophon, lacking gravitas was part of your brand.
Exactly.
The thing about Nick was that he traded on his shtick as the political outsider.
Nick would have been carried in on a gurney, to be fair. Like, he would have gone further than the cardboard cutout.
That's right. He would have actually, ramped himself.
Yeah.
But done it from a moving ambulance. But it's sort of... your point, though, Matt, I reckon you're 100% right. I reckon Labor's worked out that they are, for all the things that they're on top of, they are not even remotely on top of, in the public's mind, they are not even close to being on top of ramping, ambulance response times, and they've become a complete punching bag over this issue, and they're trying to create a good news story for themselves, which is particularly hard given the January ramping figures, which are the third highest ever recorded.
Yeah. And we're now seeing, and look, they're up against what is obviously a big structural problem, not just in our hospital, but in Australian hospitals. New South Wales government has just set up a special, task force or whatever you want to call it, an inquiry into how it's running its hospitals, because they are starting to experience bed block, as they call it, and they haven't discovered the word ramping yet, but they're getting ambulance ramping. I don't think as chronically as it is here. And remember, this is in the context of the by-election in Dunstan. which will be on, well, I think the Speaker will confirm the date today, March 23. And so Labor it would be very nice. It's not critical for Labor to win that by-election because it won't affect them at all. They've really got nothing to lose on it. But it would be. It's being set up as a referendum on ramping, and maybe they don't want a referendum on ramping. How the government's handling it. Like if they, if the Libs run away and restore a big healthy margin in Dunstan, it will be a message that the government's not travelling well on.
Yeah. Is there value, Matt, do you think, in the tactic of sort of this conflation of doing well on response times and not so well on ramping? Do you think there's some capital in muddying the waters around all these metrics that determine how well we're going? Well, no, we're doing really well on this one. It's kind of feels headline politicky to me. If you don't read beyond it, you go, oh, okay, well, they're doing something's working in the world of ambulances.
And maybe on telly you look at that last night and you go, oh, yeah, okay, well, lots of green ticks there.
That's good.
I don't know. I mean, I am possibly the only person in Adelaide who likes political corflutes. And
sad day for you yesterday, then, mate.
It was a sad day when they banned them. And I actually think David Spears was quite surprised by that. When they banned him, because it's his legislation. This has been his cause for 5 years since he was Environment Minister.
He didn't use him in his own seat.
Now, why would Labor support that? Because it's a trifling issue. It's corflutes. Why would Labor support that? Well, and I know David and I have the great pleasure of receiving joint texts from Michael Pratt, former Liberal MP for Adelaide, federal MP, who's he's a political irritant, I think it's fair to say, to the other side. Some might call him a pain in the arse to the other side. And he's told me, and I use this in my daily column, that he had a sponsor for 1,000 posters, and he was going to put up 1,000 posters in Dunstan of Premier Peter Malinauskas' face with the "I will fix ramping," with obviously a big cross across it or something like that. Now, he's not going to be able to do that now because the Liberals... who will need everything going in their favour in Dunstan, I think, because they've got a lot to lose. David Spears has got a lot to lose. I mean, if they lose in Dunstan, I think his leadership, I think he'll be challenged. I think he'll be rolled if they lose the seat of Dunstan. You have a look on social. Oh yeah. Okay. I didn't think that, but I do now. You have a look at Vincent Tarzia, who posts these photos that look like out of a David Jones sort of blue steel catalogue.
He likes to pose, Vincent, doesn't he?
Like, they're just unbelievable. And it's so blatant.
Yeah.
Like, I am waiting, Is it time for Tarzia? Because the Labor Party have made their little hashtag as they sort of repeat it.
You don't think the poison chalice argument means that people, be they Vincent Tarzia or anyone else, might think twice about being the lamb to the slaughter at the next election for the Libs?
For some people... your only chance at the chalice is when it's poison.
Very well put. Can I write that down?
That's good.
Is that original? Well, that is quite right.
Just pinch him, mate. If you don't, I will.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't do any columns.
Yeah, exactly.
We're always in the market for a well-structured sentence.
Robert in Seaton's called in on corflutes. Morning to you, Robert.
Hi, Phil. Yes, I'm currently on the bus, which explains bad background noise, but this bus 7 days a week goes past a yes post. I don't mind saying on the wheat sheaf at FIVEAA. And on New Year's Eve, I walk from Greenhill Road by the gully up to Craters, and there's one on the private property in Waterfall Gully Road.
Yeah, you still see them.
The thing is,
they'll still be allowed to be on private property.
Yeah, under the new laws, like if you're someone who believes that we are in a climate emergency, or you want everyone to vote no to the referendum, whatever floats your boat politically, you can still stick them on your house. So, if you love Jane Stinson for Badco, you can put Jane Stinson for Badco on your house.
So if you're a business in the parade,
you
can do it.
Sure, if you want bricks through your window, or your brush fence burnt down.
Yeah, you're right. It's not exactly necessarily good for business, is it?
Not always, but
no.
I look at that, and I'm writing about this, so I've sort of got it in my head. If you don't mind me sort of wandering around it, but I do think it will favour the Greens banning corflutes, because corflutes require a big volunteer base, and they're expensive. The Greens work very well in the digital space, And by banning corflutes, you will take that element out of an election campaign, particularly in a by-election. And, Labor think Greens are going to be a risk I don't know what the Liberals think, but Labor see Greens as a threat in Dunstan.
Well, they got 15% last time.
Yeah, it doesn't take all that much in a by-election to get up, finish second, then get the preferences from Labor, and who knows.
We're going to do Spin of the Week after the break. Before we get there, though, I wanted to get your thoughts on this new era of transparency that the Reserve Bank have now engaged in. 2-day Reserve Bank meetings on the second day when they make the announcement. There are fewer of the meetings over the course of the year too, but on the second day now, the Reserve Bank Governor, Michelle Bullock, comes out and fields questions from journalists. What did you make of it?
Well, there's a little bit of audio. Let's have a listen to this, because this is just how she began, and then she's asked a question about the impact of inflation on things such as Taylor Swift tickets.
Hi. Well, thank you all for coming and for your interest in the board's deliberations today. On Taylor Swift tickets, I'd say that from my own experience is that my kids put money away to do it. They forewent other things in order to be able to afford Taylor Swift. So I think there's also issues. People are deciding what's really important to them and what's not as important to them. And clearly a lot of people, Taylor Swift is very important.
Now, this is radical. You compare that to her predecessor, her recent predecessor, who just always looked like he was laughing at people's discomfort. She began the press conference laughing, but sort of in a pretty relaxed way. And then what she's saying there is, well, when times are a bit tough, you've got to make decisions about what's important to you.
Yeah, what do you want to buy?
If you do have disposable income, but, do you want to eat steak 3 times a week, or do you want to go to a Taylor Swift concert? What's important to you?
Lentils?
Well,
do it all for Tay-Tay.
Well, I think that's it. And I think the press conference went for about 45 minutes, and I watched it yesterday. I thought, it's good communication. Like, she explained the differences between goods and services, because she's asked about inflation on services, and that's things like maybe insurance on a Taylor Swift ticket, or airline tickets, and all those sorts of things where they jack up the prices. And she said it was explained to her that services. A service is something you can't drop on your foot. I quite like that. You drop a can of baked beans on your foot. Well, that's a good, but you can't drop a service.
If it demystifies the whole thing, it served its purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was genuinely surprised by how well she did after the speeches that she'd given, which made it sound like she had a real tin ear.
I know.
It was good.
So they all sound like that when they're talking to other economists and bankers.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, it's 10 to 8. We're going to check traffic and come back with Spin of the Week in just a moment. Novita Tech can support you to live more independently. The summer sale's on now. Visit novitatech.com.au.
Thanks, Will. Those night works are still running late at Clovelly Park at the moment. It's on South Road as you're exiting the Southern Expressway. I've got some really solid delays there at the moment. It's going to run throughout the morning. Try Ailofts Road and Marion Road to avoid delays. Myrtle Bank traffic lights out Glen Osmond Road near Fowlers Road, works at Eastwood, Glen Osmond Road near Kenilworth Road, and quite busy Brighton Road, Brighton. You find a camera at Main South Road at Moffat Vale. Order the new Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra at Telstra and get a bonus Graphite Galaxy Watch 6 ends March 4. Eligibility criteria apply, and find out more in store. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, the Lynn Andrews team have made it easy for landlords to manage residential and commercial property. From single homes to multiple commercial holdings, our passion for property investment means we have a great deal of knowledge. How to do it safely and properly, matching the right tenant with the right property every time. We're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
Before you do a thesis in dishwasher, depart on an oven odyssey, or make a pilgrimage up Mount Washing Machine. Just trying to work out what appliances to get? Drop into Adelaide Appliance Gallery. We're here to make your life easier. We've got the best advice, best appliances, and the best offers on Smeg. Choose from Smeg's linear range of ovens and save up to $1,200 during the clearance sale. Make your life easier with Adelaide Appliance Gallery, Paynham Road, St Peters.
Some builders think a sloping block has limitations. When Beechwood Homes look at a sloping block, they think, the possibilities. Beechwood Homes know how to make the most of a sloping block. In fact, they specialise in them. Beechwood will design a home that works with the land you have, taking full advantage of every square metre. So if you're looking at a sloping block, go for it. Beechwood has your back. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Google Beechwood Adelaide.
After 25 years of delivering perfect service, ASIC Couriers is evolving to better reflect what they do now. They're not just couriers, they're your go-to for fast, secure and reliable national transport solutions, now known as ASIC Transport Solutions. Darren, Chris and the team at ASIC Transport Solutions now have a fleet of over 220 vehicles delivering any size parcel and any size pallet to anywhere in Australia. Book online at asiccouriers.com.au. Don't send it, ace it.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
Happy birthday, Matt Abraham. Oh, congratulations.
We've just been talking about terrorists.
We provided you with a gift of deafness for your birthday. Party poppers in the air. That was quite a scene on the Foodland Surveys Facebook and YouTube live stream.
I've never been shot for my birthday before.
Yeah, those things are quite violent and loud and shocking.
Cheap as chips for next to nothing. Happy birthday,
Thank
Matt.
you.
I didn't know it was your birthday.
Well, smell the
Yeah, the
gunpowder.
Smell of gunpowder.
The whiff of grape
on
shot.
air?
Yeah, we're on air.
We're on air, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought the ad break
I
was...
reckon "are we on air" is the scariest sentence in human language.
If you don't know, it's best not to ask.
I didn't say the S or the F word, did I?
No.
You exclaimed.
Oh, I smell it.
No, very many happy returns.
Thank you.
Have you brought us some spin for your birthday?
I will. Yes, before we do. Yes, I have. That's why I've got 2 bits of audio today. But you know we were just talking about Peter Malinauskas and all these little cardboard cutouts of patients, and then David Spears came on, and I thought, oh, he's going to be a killer line here. You know, he's going to have a killer line, and he went, wow, and I'm like, what? Like this is why? And I start yelling, why don't you say? It must be really bad if Peter Malinauskas is doing Nick Xenophon light.
Yeah,
you know, like come
something.
out with a,
There's a good line.
Think like
a zinger.
Come up.
Have a go, you mug.
Come up with a zinger. Don't go. I mean, Ashton Hearn at least said, you know, rather than doing arts and craft, the government should be fixing the rampant
Yeah, that's
crisis.
not bad.
That's not a bad line.
It's not bad.
You know, that's a start. Anyway,
you need something that gets you the grab on the news.
Exactly.
That's memorable.
I hate to say it, but that's the world we live in.
Yeah,
100%.
Let's do some spin.
All right, let's do some spin.
5 to 10 out of 10 every time.
Let's go to talking about killer lines or not. Let's go to the seat of Dunstan where there's furious door knocking. Dr. Anna Finazio is a Liberal candidate and she's being accompanied here by John Gardner MP.
It's been a fantastic morning, knocking on doors, talking with residents in Canaan this morning. I'm here with our Liberal candidate for Dunstan, Dr. Anna Finazio. Anna, what were you hearing on the doors this morning?
John, lots of talk about local roads here in Payneham, getting trucks off Portrush Road, but also a lot of concerns around our health system, record ramping that we're experiencing at the moment, and of course households feeling cost of living pressures.
Oh, there we are. There we are.
He's like the roving reporter there, the former education minister.
Exactly.
Has he got his MEAA card? Is he financial?
I don't know. Look, what's the margin? 0.6. I'm giving them both 0.6 out of 10.
5 to 10 out of 10 every time.
That sounded about as bad as those terrible self-produced Crows TV and Port TV or the AFL clubs.
Oh, when they do interviews.
Oh, they got no credibility at all, have they, those things?
No, and the problem is they're becoming more and more commonplace. Organisations of all sorts
doing
internal interviews.
You ask the
punch the
questions
footy,
you
that's
want.
always good.
Hand
pass the footy out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Sit down with the person before you interview them and make sure that they're happy with all of the questions.
Oh, you know, you can. Not only the questions being read out, but so are the answers.
Oh, yeah.
God,
terrible.
It's hard to watch. Hey, happy birthday, Matt.
Yeah,
thank you.
Have a good day, Matt.
Have a terrific day.
It's off to a good start.
Does anyone know an ear specialist? Party popper went off centimetres from Matt's eardrum before. That
You
was
get to our age, don't laugh.
I
Become
know.
serious.
I know. I know.
Uh,
I did notice the packer-whackers down in the foyer there in case I had a little problem with the
defibrillator.
Prepared for anything.
We had it on standby especially today, Matt.
Thank you.
5AA News Time. Back with more in a moment.
I was just doing my job. I didn't think I'd get injured.
The doctor said it was a routine procedure? Right.
The car came out of nowhere and it smashed right into us.
At DBH Lawyers, we're here to listen to your story. Our team of local South Australian lawyers will help you navigate the law and find the best way forward. We're with you. We're for you. We're DBH Lawyers. dbh.com.au.
How easily could you save hundreds off your energy bills? That easy. Switch out your gas or electric hot water system for an energy-efficient heat pump with EcoVantage. Then sit back and save up to 70% on your water heating costs. And get it supplied and installed for as little as $0, thanks to government-facilitated subsidies. Yep, new hot water system from $0 that saves you hundreds. Pump your energy bills down with ecovantage.com.au.
Sanchoy bar now, bolognese for days. With all Coles brand mints now 10% off. Like Coles Aussie beef mince, 1 kilo pack now $9.90. Our lowest price since February 2022. That's great value hands down at Coles. Offer ends Tuesday.
Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth the trip. And now there's Barossa Mazda, Murray Street, Nuriutpa. SA's newest Mazda dealership is now open. For 40 years, Steinborner has provided South Australians with outstanding customer service, exceptional value, and a large selection of new, used, and demo vehicles. The Steinborner story continues with the opening of their new, state-of-the-art Mazda dealership in Barossa Valley. Barossa Mazda. It's well worth the trip. barossamazda.com.au.
At Keaton, we understand that like a fine wine, life continues to get better with age. Join us for a series of events where you'll be inspired to connect, learn and thrive in retirement as we celebrate it as a time for creativity, exploration and self-discovery. So come live a little, sip and socialise with friends as you experience the joy of retirement living at a Keaton village near you. Visit keatonevents.com.au to find out more and RSVP today.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 29 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning. I'm Graham Goodings.
Getting fit your New Year's resolution? Book a Pilates and group exercise class at Physio Extra. 6 locations.
UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has warned that the world is entering an age of chaos. After meeting with the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reiterated Israel will not be satisfied with anything other than total victory over Hamas. Israel is expected to move its offensive to Rafah near the Egyptian border. Guterres said he was especially alarmed by this, given more than 1 million people have sought shelter there.
Such an action would exponentially increase what is already a humanitarian nightmare with untold regional consequences. It's time for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire.
There are calls for HECS debts to be frozen as young adults battle the crippling cost of living. Gabriel Hodson says crossbenchers in Canberra are trying to put a freeze on the annual HECS debt increase.
All up, Australians who've enrolled in tertiary courses at any stage since 1989 are forecast to owe a whopping $84 billion by June. The average student with a HECS debt now owes around $26,000. With a rise in line with inflation, that's set to rise by another $1,000 more. Jackie Lambie and the Greens both want spiralling student debt to stop. The Education Minister doesn't support the freeze, saying that students' HECS debts are based on the principle of paying for what you can afford.
In a blow to international travel, a major international carrier has dropped flights through Adelaide. Batik Air Malaysia has suspended their SA flights to and from Kuala Lumpur due to operational costs. It comes just a day after the state government announced the return of daily Emirates flights in a $160 million boost for tourism, trade and jobs. More than 14,000 complaints were lodged about internet and phone outages in the September quarter, a 13% increase. The industry ombudsman Cynthia Gabert says nearly 20% of complaints were from small businesses.
And, we heard stories of really significant impacts, loss of trading for the day, inability to meet orders and other things that, help keep people lights on for them. Really, in the current cost of living crisis, these things can't be taken for granted.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Get immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and their brand new dealership at Mawson Lakes.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Australia's women have gone down to South Africa for the first time in a one-dayer after losing by 84 runs at North Sydney Oval overnight. South Australia's men's cricketers will be back in action today as they take on Victoria in a one-dayer at Junction Oval. Meantime, the Aussie men will train today as they also prepare for tomorrow's opening T20 match against the West Indies in Tasmania. The series will then head here to Adelaide for a match on Sunday. And New Zealand has taken a 1-0 Test series lead against South Africa after winning the opening test by 281 runs. Well, Adelaide United's players will train today ahead of tomorrow night's big game against the Perth Glory at home. The Reds have suffered back-to-back losses and need to win to keep touch with the top six. Meantime, Qatar is into the Asian Cup final following a 3-2 win against Iran. The Adelaide 36ers will head to Brisbane today ahead of tomorrow night's season-defining clash against the Brisbane Bullets. The Sixers must win to have any chance of keeping their finals hopes alive. Let's head overseas. Kansas City Chiefs star Travis Kelce insists his high-profile relationship with pop star Taylor Swift hasn't been a distraction ahead of next week's NFL Super Bowl against the San Francisco 49ers.
I've juggled the perception of my focus, and I never wanted to make the people in this team in the Kansas City Chiefs building feel like I wasn't focused on the task at hand, and that's winning football games. Being able to juggle that and make sure everybody realizes my focus is in the right area, especially when I'm in the building and there's no distractions, I think that's been the biggest point.
That match will be played Monday morning our time. And the Hockey Roos have defeated India 3-0 in the Pro League. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Don't miss your chance at the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery's $3.6 million grand prize.
At Clovelly Park, delays clearing from earlier night works. That's on South Road near Tonsley Boulevard as you're heading inbound. Myrtle Bank lights on the blink today. Glen Osmond Road near Fisher Street. Also got work slowing things up today at McLaren Vale. Tatachilla Road near Main South Road. Getting busy, Brighton Road, Brighton with a camera Broadway at Glenelg South. Don't miss the end of season Drum and Golf half-price store-wide clothing clearance on now. No exceptions. Shop in-store or online at drummondgolf.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
Beautiful weather ahead. Sunny 29 today, sunny 29 tomorrow. Saturday, sunny 31. Still sunny Sunday, 33. Right now it's 17. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Cheer up, Sleepy G.
On the Facebook and YouTube live stream, thanks to Foodland Supermarkets. What a lovely day. The sun is up over the hills.
The eye on the sky.
The eye on the sky. Not
It's
much
all
cloud.
sky. Big blue sky.
We've got to work out
No
what that.
cloud.
What's the building
Can't
that's
see
getting
any
built
cloud.
there that we always see, the crane? It's got to be one
I
of the
don't know.
500 new hotels in Adelaide, doesn't it?
I heard a rumour that they're going to add more stories to that second tower that's going up near the plaza behind Parliament. And then it's going to be 37 stories.
The office tower.
I think it's meant to be 23. Not the one that's being opened today or was opened yesterday by the Premier, but there's another one, a second one, because there's the one that's got Flinders in it.
Yes.
But there's a rumour doing the rounds that the government has secretly agreed to add like 10 more stories to this second tower. It's going to be 37 stories high.
You haven't pushed Breaking at 8 yet.
Well, actually, I've just done myself out of a Breaking at 8. That was going to be tomorrow's Breaking at 8.
Oh, well, there you go.
I've got a different Breaking at 8.
Breaking it the day before. We'll get to that in a moment. Just wanted to shout out Leslie, who sent us some pictures. I'm not sure if we can put these up on the live stream yet. Maybe we can put them up on our Facebook page. On the issue of gum trees coming down, Leslie says, here are some photos of my sister's car. After
amazing.
a huge limb from a gum tree lining Sturt Road, Marion fell as she was driving past. She's lucky to have come out of it uninjured, says Leslie. She's lucky to have come out of it alive. The car's wrecked.
The bonnet is totally caved in. The windscreen's had it. And Leslie continues, in her text, his or her text, not sure, Leslie, being a male and female name. Leslie says councils don't accept liability. They say it's one of those things. Act of God.
We obviously there's this tragic story that broke at 2:30 yesterday with a young woman losing her life at the North Adelaide Parklands with a tree falling there. We wanted to speak about these sorts of issues with an arborist around town. We've spoken to 8 so far. No one wants to talk about it.
Well, there is an inquiry underway, and we're going to be talking to the Adelaide City Council. We've put calls into the Adelaide City Council. This is obviously very fresh and raw and new, and let's not forget the saddest and most important part of it is that a young woman has lost a life. But there's not many arborists in Adelaide, and some of them are going to be involved in helping the council to get to the bottom of what went wrong. So you can understand why they're sort of, not willing to come on air and start shooting their mouths off, speculating.
Yeah.
I know a guy called Dylan who's a terrific bloke. I dealt with him when we were putting the pool in because we wanted to make sure that we didn't damage our big gum tree down the back and put the pool too close. And he was the meticulous guy, really, really professional.
We just flashed up on the live stream a picture of the text Leslie sent through. There it is. The remnants of the car after a gum fell on it. $10,000 out of pocket having to buy a new car because it's clearly a write-off. The car wasn't salvageable. That is just an extraordinary picture of the amount of damage that can be done when one of these things falls over. Thank you for the text, Leslie. We appreciate it. That's the Duttons text line. Big 10 Ford, GW Haval, Hyundai, Isuzu, Ute, Mazda, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Ram, Subaru and Volkswagen. Duttons, easy to do business with. Now, in exciting news, the sound off is back.
Oh.
The sound off for the Care Alert Smart Dialer is back. The ultimate emergency alert system for falls and illnesses wherever you are, carealert.com.au. This is valued at $389, and we're going to give it away in the next 5 minutes to someone who calls in and has a sound off, which is very simple. You've got 30 seconds, 60 seconds rather, of unfettered airspace in which to rant on a subject of your choosing.
Cut loose.
Cut loose. Something that's been irritating you that you've seen.
Could be anything. The more trifling, the better.
Well, we've had some real minor sort of stuff that's irritated people, but that's been very enjoyable. Whatever it might well be, we need the first caller through right now, and you'll get yourself nearly $400 worth of Care Alert Smart Dialer. 8233 Chat with Sam and Lucy and get something off your chest. You'll feel better after you sound off for the Smart Dialer.
Now, this might be too much to bear after the frog cake saga yesterday, but we're hearing some dark rumours about the future of Bung Fritz. Now, just to stress, not Fritz itself, but the bung, which is the characteristic orange casing that is synonymous with South Australia's iconic Germanic small good. Sources in the butchering caper have told me that there's a major issue with the production of bung, which from my understanding is actually traditionally it's a sheep's appendix with that distinctive orange colour. But I've been told that butchers are now not going to be using the natural bung anymore on account of some kind of cost-related issue, manufacturing problem. We thought, who better to get to the bottom of all this than our good mates at Goodwood Quality Meats. We've got Luke on the line, Luke Layson. Luke, is our mail right? Is there some sort of drama with the bung Fritz?
Good morning, gentlemen. Yes, there is. Your sources are correct. It's just a bit of a travesty, really, but it's by no means death of the Fritz. Fritz will still be here. It will just look a little bit different.
So what's the problem with the bung? Because was I right? It is a sheep's appendix, isn't it, or part of the stomach?
Yeah, 100%. It's part of the sheep appendix. It's actually the closed end. That's why you can fill it out and do all the good things, Fritz included. But yeah, just a manufacturing issue here in Australia. I've been told, on a good timeline, maybe a couple of months, until we might be able to see some come back into the market. But they're even looking as far as New Zealand to try to get them in. So we're trying to lean on our friends across the Tasman there to help us out.
So is it a manufacturing cost issue at the moment, from what you're hearing, Luke?
Yeah, I think just with obviously it's a byproduct of the animal, and it's great that we can use as much as we possibly can. But I guess when you cost, put labour costs into it and maybe overheads as well, it might not actually be worth for those businesses to clean out and to spend the time doing it. But if we do see them come back in, they will be a bit more expensive.
Yeah, right.
But there's going to be other options out there, and us butchers, we're pretty crafty, so we're working on things to make sure that it comes out.
But does it mean for the foreseeable future that if you buy what's been, people in South Australia call it bung frits, it won't actually have a bung on it? It'll be a synthetic casing instead.
Yeah, we basically have to move to. So we're looking at collagen casings at the moment, which is still a natural product. It's just manufacturally made. But I guess if you're a consumer walking past the butcher's counter or and you can't see it, maybe it might look a little bit different. We are really trying to keep that iconic orange colour. But just ask where it is, because every butcher's still going to have the fritz. It may just a little bit of disguise, maybe.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. Good on you, Luke. Luke Layson there from Goodwood Quality Meats joining us for what I think is that butcher shop's inaugural appearance on Breaking 8.
Frog cake.
Bung frits.
Bung frits.
Bung
What's
frits
next?
with no bung.
Is there going to be a virus that goes to the piping shrike community?
That's right.
Do we have anything left?
I know.
Is the Adelaide Oval going to crumble?
The float is largely gone. You've got to look hard. There's no pie floater carts anymore. I reckon that was the beginning of the trouble for Balfours.
Yeah,
rid of
I think you're right.
Cart.
Yep,
I used to love it.
Lost its roots.
There was the one in Victoria Square. There was the one down on North Terrace. Used to love going down there when I did the night shift on police rounds at the Tizer. Going down to get my pie floater once a week.
14 after 8. It's time to sound off.
Sound off, sound off, sound off, sound off. Cadence count 1, 2, 3, 4.
Lockie in Kapunda has called in for the sound off for the smart dialer. Care Alert GPS, the ultimate emergency alert for falls and illnesses, wherever you are, carealert.com.au. Lockie, good morning.
G'day, fellas. How are you?
We're good, mate. Sound off to your heart's content.
All right. During the week, I worked out that to use a drone, like a small remotely controlled drone for aerial photography or anything like that, using it for a business or non-profit purpose, any organisation like that, you've got to pay a $40 annual registration to the Civil Aviation Safety Authority.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not just a one-off. That's every year. And what really gets me is we're taxed on our income. We jump in the car to go buy the drone. We're copping it on the petrol. Government tax there, obviously. We go buy the drone. You're copping GST. To fly the drone, you've got to get taxed once again, another $40 a year, which really irritated me during the week.
Yeah.
We're getting fleeced every step of the way.
That is a great
That's
sound
a
off.
great sound
That's
off,
a
but I
great
did not
story.
know that.
Yeah.
So you got to pay $40 a year.
It's a terrible story.
What do you?
If you're using it for a business or an organisation of any sort, personal use, you don't worry about it. Don't have to worry. But for any sort of organisation, $40 a year. Thank you, mother, for the rabbit.
Do you mind us asking what you use yours for, Lockie? Or can you not say?
A bit of aerial photography from time to time.
Okay.
That's about all, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know someone who works at a winery, and they've used it to take overhead shots of their vineyards. So they'd presumably have to pay it?
Yep, correct. Yep.
Geez, what a revenue stream.
There's some evil department within Treasury. People just sit around thinking of things they can tax.
Completely. That's a great sound off, Lockie. You've got yourself
No
a
worries.
Care Alert smart dialer coming your way.
Good on you, Lockie.
Thanks, fellas. Cheers.
Love the sound
That's
off.
it.
We learn things through the sound off. Because
Yeah.
people otherwise have a venue in which to vent about the very specific thing that's angered them.
Yeah.
So one for the drone operators this morning.
Hey, just on the tree issue too, the council, Adelaide City Council, is not going to be saying anything beyond the very brief statement that they've issued, and that is obviously pending the investigation. For the record, the Lord Mayor says, I express my sincere condolences to the family and friends of the young woman tragically killed in what appears to be a shocking accident. Council staff assisted authorities at the scene. We are doing our best to determine what has happened. Unfortunately, I can provide no further information at this time, as the circumstances which led to this tragic event will be the subject of an official investigation. So there you go. We did ask for the Lord Mayor to come on, but her media guy understandably explained they're not saying anything yet.
No, that's fair enough.
Still trying to work through it.
Fair enough. 17 after 8. We need to do an audit of South Australian icons because they're fast vanishing. If we lose the frog cake and we lose Bung Fritz, what holds pride of place as a South Australian icon all of a sudden? What moves into the number one position? Because I think if we asked that question a few days ago, a few weeks ago, they may have been the first two things that people said. We get a $100 unique home styles food voucher. We want to do an audit right here and now of South Australian icons. We just need to make sure we don't lose any others this week.
We've got to get Keith Connell onto this too, because yesterday you were saying...
Keith is one of the icons. I'm starting to get worried about Keith.
That's right.
Someone get eyes on Keith.
Moved to Melbourne.
Exactly. Someone could have sold him.
Didn't you say yesterday he was going to chain himself to a frog cake? Now he can chain himself to a Bung Fritz.
He's got to climb inside a sheep's appendix.
That's right.
82230000 is the number. $100 unique home styles food voucher. Let's do an audit. What South Australian icons do we have left? What can we not afford to lose?
Do you like Fritz?
Call in right now. I'm not a huge Fritz fan. 82230000. You can text us on the Duttons text line as well, 0480081395. We'll check traffic in the meantime.
Barbecue.
Thanks to Novita Tech, they can support you to live more independently. The summer sale's on now. Visit novitatech.com.au.
Thanks, Will. At Clovelly Park, delays from overnight works clearing on South Road near Tonsley Boulevard. Meadowbank, traffic lights out there. Glen Osmond Road near Fowlers Road. Slow for works at Windvale, the Golden Way near Grenfell Road. And Brighton Road, quite busy at the moment at Brighton South and Brighton. You find cameras, Deakin Avenue, Richmond, and George Street at Theberton. Want to win a share of $100,000? Just watch Deal or No Deal 6 p.m. weeknights on 10. Grab the code word, then go to 10 play for your chance to win. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
The Port Board voting closes. Treaders v ABBA, mate v mate. Now, George Fiacci, club great, is he right that these two should never have faced off against each other?
I think I made the comment that I didn't like seeing those two
from
actually
day one
running against each other, so it wasn't comfortable for me by all means.
Rowie and Timmy G.
That hasn't been the ideal scenario.
Yeah.
4 p.m. weekdays on 5AA.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, we, the Lynn Andrews team, have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easier for investors and tenants. Everyone is treated with empathy and respect. It's the way we do business. It's the Lynn Andrews way. For residential and commercial property management, we're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
Before you do a thesis in dishwasher, depart on an oven odyssey, or make a pilgrimage up Mount Washing Machine. Just trying to work out what appliances to get? Drop into Adelaide Appliance Gallery. We're here to make your life easier. We've got the best advice, best appliances, and the best offers on SMEG. Save up to 15% with special discounts on fridges, cookers, dishwashers, and more. That's 15% off. Make your life easier with Adelaide Appliance Gallery, Paynham Road, St Peters.
With help from Fluorio Milk Company and The Udder Way, cafes all over Adelaide have joined the fight to reduce plastic waste. Instead of single-use plastic bottles, they've introduced the Udder Way's reusable 18-litre kegs. In the initial week, they stand to eliminate 1,500 plastic bottles. Together with other cafes, supermarkets, schools, restaurants, hotels and workplaces, millions of single-use plastic bottles will be taken out of circulation. You gotta feel good about that. Visit fleuriomilkco.com.au for more.
You've decided to build? It's exciting stuff. When you've found land, it's a good idea to get advice on what you can build on your new parcel of paradise. Get Steve from Beechwood Homes to take a look. There's no obligation, and you'll get a great understanding of what's possible. Sloping block, flat block, weird-shaped block, or block on a cliff. Speak with Steve from Beechwood Homes for all the possibilities. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Google Beechwood Adelaide.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. This is 5AA Breakfast.
22 minutes after 8. We've got a $100 unique home styles food voucher to give away. We're doing an audit of South Australian icons. It feels like we're losing them at a rate of knots. The frog cake on life support. Now we find out Bung Fritz might not be Bung. It might be collagen Fritz, which doesn't sound as...
Yeah, can I get some collagen Fritz? please.
Sounds like something a plastic surgeon would do.
Yeah, exactly. You end up looking like you're on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Dean, what have we got left, icon-wise?
Well, I think this one actually needs 24-hour surveillance and security. KG.
Oh, yes, you're right. KG. KG needs to be locked up and looked after. With respect, KG, we can't afford to lose another icon.
No.
Dave in Clarence Gardens, good morning.
Fellas, we desperately need to look after the last few places in South Australia doing the double cut roll.
Oh, Dave.
100%.
They need to be. Why can we heritage list the double cut roll?
Yeah, well, the UNESCO lists places of cultural significance,
yes,
and it lists recipes like mole, the famous Mexican sauce, is listed by UNESCO. Why can't we list a?
You should have to make a development application to the state government if you want to take double cut rolls off your menu.
100%. Yeah,
and then it's up to the minister to decide.
Yeah, correct.
I don't know which minister. Stacey, good morning.
Good morning, boys. I'm nominating Billy's, the cafe, particularly at Myland. That's a 24-hour service, and what people don't know, they store some of the Christmas pageant objects in their warehouse across the road. They also involve the primary school children in a mural on their warehouse across the road. And hey, who can't enjoy a pie or a pasty? Or I love their cinnamon roll.
Yeah, good nomination, Stacey.
I love
well
the goulash pie.
Don't ever do that again. Rosalie, good morning. It's very disturbing. Rosalie, good morning.
Hello, Clarice.
Good morning, fellas. How are you?
Yeah,
we're good, thanks, Rosalie.
Okay, that's nice coming on from the famous Billy's bakery. Hungarian goulash pie.
Oh, it's good, isn't
it? I think the Farmers Union Iced Coffee is the number one icon after Billy's, or in line with Billy's product in South Australia.
Yeah.
And we make the best in South Australia. South Australia is Australia's secret for the best food, wine, etc., etc. But that Farmers Union Iced Coffee, it's available everywhere, 24 hours a day, and I don't know whether you guys know that the actual coffee that actually is in the Farmers Union Iced Coffee, every year or two the executives from National Foods used to go overseas to source the best quality coffee.
Really?
And yes,
wow.
I know that for a fact, yep. And that's why it's just so good. And also Golden North ice cream.
Oh, yeah, now you're talking. Good
Get
stuff.
it, Laura.
Good stuff, Rosalie.
Thank you.
The old honey
Thanks,
ice cream.
fellas.
Thank you, Rosalie. Let's go to Jill. Morning, Jill.
Good morning.
What's yours, Jill?
Oh, Jimmy Barnes. We nearly lost him recently.
Oh, I know.
Can't let it happen.
No, you can't keep a good Barnesy down, though. He's back in the land of the living,
Exactly
fighting
right.
fit.
Look up. But you're right. Jill's right. Barnsley's been in a rough trot too.
Yeah.
You add him to the list of icons of concern.
Yeah,
speaking of
absolutely.
Speaking of UNESCO-style designations.
Exactly.
Pat in the Barossa Valley, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, fellas. Keeping with the musical theme, I'd say the FIVEAA Theatre, because that South Road extension they're going to do affect the foundations, whatever. That place is a mecca for music lovers, not only in South Australia, from all over the place, mate. That's a ripper building. It's had history, and it should not be in any way, shape or form affected by this South Road thing.
Well, you know, Pat, timely call. I drove past it yesterday and noticed that the sign up, where normally it's listing, you know, all the bands that are coming up, it's gone dark.
Yeah, they're doing renos. It's been like that for a while.
But it's not going to be affected by South Road, and it's going to be renovated. So, happy news on that front.
Liz in Kent Town, good morning.
Hi, good morning, guys. You well?
We're good, thanks, Liz. How are you going?
I'm good, thank you. Listen, I'm ringing to... we can't lose George Gross.
Oh, yeah, George Gross.
Do you remember George Gross from George Gross and Harry Who?
Yeah, the fashion designer.
He's an international fashion designer who lives in Adelaide. He's made Adelaide his home for over, so many years. And he's won Liebert Awards. He's just one of those super fashion designers that many women remember from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. Good
and if I can say, I am organising a lunch with George Gross on the 13th of March to celebrate his life at the Kooyonga Golf Club, with part proceeds to the Starlight Foundation. So if I can leave my number, it would be such a brilliant thing. I mean, the man's in his early 80s, but he's not going to be around, but he's the most talented man, and he's had a colourful life coming from war-torn Hungary and making Australia his home. So he is an icon as far as I'm concerned. I've been in the fashion industry for years. So he's someone I want to celebrate his life while he's still alive.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to come along, please take my number and pass it on to people so they can hear his life from where to go. He's got a fabulous book release. So, yeah, I think he's one of our biggest icons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Happy to do it, Liz.
That's a great nomination.
Luce and Sam will take your number down and we'll sort out anyone who calls in and wants to head along. Steve in Bellevue Heights, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. How about the tour down under?
Yeah, it's fast becoming an icon, isn't it?
Mm.
Well, I mean, I think Victoria want to nick that from us. I mean, what else have they taken from us?
Grand Prix?
I don't know if they can afford anything anymore.
Victoria.
No, they can't. I don't think they can take anything.
They can't even stage the Commonwealth Games.
They will announce, what they'll do is they'll announce they're taking the tour down under, and then they'll have to cancel it at the last moment, probably after an election.
Pay like $100 million not to stage it.
Yeah, that's how Victoria tends to roll.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
Economic powerhouse that it is.
Tony, good morning.
Hi, good morning, guys, and thank you for taking my call.
Not at all,
mate. I think an icon in Adelaide, which is the West End, the entertainment precinct, is slowly dying.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of memories by everybody growing up. I think it's a must somehow that needs help, either from the government and the city council. It must not be forgotten.
Good on you, Tony. Thank you for that. Who do we like for the $100 Unique Home Styles food voucher?
Hard to split them. I reckon, I can't remember us ever giving her a prize anyway, even though she's such a much-loved regular on our show and a person who always warms our hearts when she comes along to our outside broadcasts. We're going to give it to Stacey. The Care Alert Smart Dialer goes to Stacey.
No. This is the $100 Unique Home Styles food voucher.
Well, yes. Let's give her that instead.
All right, let's do that.
We've already given the Care Alert Smart Dial has already been given away to Lockie and Kapunda.
That's exactly right. Get unique pies, sausage rolls and donuts from your local independent supermarket. Unique. It's time for something better.
If Stacey does want a Care Alert Smart Dialer, though, if she doesn't have one, I reckon
Mike and Darren,
I reckon
they'll sort her out.
Set her up with one. If she doesn't have one, get in touch with us, Stace. We'll sort you out.
NRG Solar have moved to a new location. It's bigger and better, and their new warehouse is fully stocked with wholesale solar and battery equipment. So, if you're looking to save money on electricity and help our environment, don't wait. Visit NRG Solar at their new office on South Road, St Mary's, where every 3 customers refer someone they know, which means they must be doing something right. Call into NRG Solar at their new premises, 1275 South Road, or visit nrgsolar.com.au.
This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
Sunny and 29 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Physio Extra hands-on physio at 6 locations. Even more convenient now with online bookings at physioextra.com.
There are calls to put a pause on increases to student loans. HECS debts are expected to reach $84 billion by June, increasing around $1,000 per student or graduate. The federal government is being urged to stop the increases, with the value rising alongside inflation. The opposition is accusing the federal government of complete overreach on its new workplace reforms. The new rules would mean employees have the right to disconnect once they've finished their workday. Bosses who unreasonably call or email their staff after hours could face penalties. Nationals leader David Littleproud says it's a silly rule and common sense should prevail.
All that does is start to complicate and overreach and potentially cause conflict between employer and employee where it's not necessary, where there's been sensible solutions to this that's been generated business by business between employer and employee. We're just going further in where we don't need to.
Almost $16 million in refunds is owed to those who paid a priority fee for their passport application. The Australian Passport Office is behind on processing new passports and updates. A scathing report also shows it failed to prepare for an increase in demand after the pandemic. A man has been arrested following a break-in at a Golden Grove car mechanic business this morning. When police arrived at the scene, they saw a dark-coloured sedan leaving the area and called in Polair to search for the vehicle. Senior Constable Kimberly Broad says it was followed through the back streets of Salisbury, where it eventually stopped.
A driver and passengers run from the vehicle. Police were able to locate the driver on Stratford Road, but unfortunately weren't able to locate the passenger. But we've recovered some cash from the break-in, which was found in the car, and a 40-year-old man from no fixed address. He's currently being interviewed by police.
There are calls to upgrade the safety in Australian cars in line with Europe. It includes speed limiters, lane change alerts and automated crash awareness braking. But National Motoring Editor at News Corp, Richard Blackburn, says it comes at a cost.
A lot of cars that are five-star ANCAP cars have them, but they all cost money too, which is an issue. When you look at, you could buy a car for $19,990 a few years ago. That same car's about $30,000.
Henry Winkler has given Adelaide restaurant Fugazi a rave review. The Fonz had lunch at the Lee Street Eatery yesterday before appearing on stage at Her Majesty's Theatre last night. Co-owner of Fugazi Bar and Dining Room, Laura Sharrett, says he was a delightful guest.
He was so lovely. Him and his wife were just the most beautiful customers from the minute they walked in to the minute they left. The staff absolutely loved having him in.
America's most expensive home has hit the market, an asking price of 450 million Australian dollars. The compound in Florida was home to a financier and his family of 13 children and 84 grandchildren. He bought the undeveloped plot of land for $1 million in 1985. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Drive away with a great deal at Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and the brand new Agostino Mitsubishi Mawson Lakes.
And now here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Port Adelaide forward Sam Powell-Pepper says there's a couple of standouts he's noticed on the track so far this pre-season. He says the reigning best and fairest winner, Zach Butters, along with Jason Horne-Francis, have shown they're ready to step up their game again in 2024.
Just watching Jason Horne-Francis, the way he trains, he's a bit of a beast, and he kind of lights up the track whenever he's out there. So he's probably one person I'd look out for this year, but another person probably just Butsy. You know, he just takes it to another level again. So keep an eye out for those two boys.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Let's keep on moving and we'll go to soccer full-time in FA Cup action between Chelsea and Aston Villa, with the Blues easing some of the pressure on under-fire manager Maurizio Pochettino with a 3-1 win to move into the fifth round. Meantime, the match between Nottingham Forest and Bristol City looks like it is going to be headed for penalties. The score is currently locked at 1-1 deep into extra time. And Ivory Coast are through to the African Cup of Nations final following a 1-0 win against Congo. They'll meet Nigeria in the final after they won in penalties against South Africa. Let's go to cricket. Paul Fielding has contributed to Australia's first ever loss to South Africa in a women's one-dayer. The Aussies dropped 5 catches as they went down to the Proteas by 84 runs at North Sydney. Well, Wallaby star Rob Vellatini has won his first John Eales medal as Australian rugby's best performer in 2023. The 25-year-old was just one of 2 players to play every test during a turbulent year for the side. The back rower says Wallabies fans should stick with them, promising brighter times ahead.
I think after a hard season last year, I think there'll be a fire in a lot of players' bellies. Boys that didn't get selected or boys that were selected, not successful Rugby World Cup, and then obviously with a new coach in as well. So.
Yeah, let's hope that is the case, and that is the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Don't miss your chance at the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery's $3.6 million grand prize.
Morning there at Clovelly Park. Delays from overnight works clearing on South Road near Tonsley Boulevard. Still got lights on the blink at Myrtle Bank at the moment. Glen Osmond Road near Fowlers Road. Slow for works at Winvale, the Golden Way near Grenfell Road. And quite busy at the moment, Green Hill Road at Anzac Highway. Cameras made Torres Brooklyn Park and Military Road at West Beach. Beaumont's clearance outlet is being demolished. So are the prices in their final ever demo sale, with second-grade tiles from $10 a square metre. Hurry to Beaumont's Richmond today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
And a sunny, perfect few days ahead. Sunny 29 today, sunny 29 tomorrow. Saturday, sunny 31. Sunday, even warmer, sunny and 33. Right now it's 19. More news as it happens on 5AA.
For over 3 decades, Regent Homes has been synonymous with crafting architecturally bespoke homes, each one a testament to Regent Homes' unwavering commitment to design, quality and sophistication. And because Regent Homes is a South Australian family-owned company, they understand more than anyone what it takes to build a family home. Experience Regent Homes' award-winning display homes at Lightsview and Blackwood Park. Innovative design, elevated living. Visit regenthomes.com.au.
It all started in the back shed. Maybe it started early or late. Either way, the Olympic Industry sale means there's no need to wait. With big savings on our entire range of SA engineered sheds, garages, carports and verandas, you can afford to start something big, tough or tasty in your own backyard. Start something with the Olympic Industry sale. On now.
It's easy to get behind the wheel of a new Mawson Lakes Volkswagen right now. In fact, it's ridiculously easy. All you need to do is head to the showroom on Salisbury Highway, check out the range of new and demo Volkswagens on sale now, and then pick your favourite. How easy is that? All stock is ready for immediate delivery, with easy finance options available. And remember our next day servicing. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. This is 5AA Breakfast.
22 to 9, another small business broken into overnight, this time at Golden Grove. Car mechanic business on Helicon Drive. We're going to take you there very shortly.
Unbelievable.
For the latest.
Yesterday was just completely unacceptable, and, you know, waking up to the news that it's been happening again. There's been a spate of these over the last month. It's been completely appalling. Great text from Roger, who describes himself rightly as a Fritz connoisseur from Lobethal, brackets, where Fritz was born. No, I will never accept bung Fritz without the traditional skin. Plastic-covered Fritz is rubbish. It always tastes fatty. Long live the true and traditionally made Fritz.
Keep them coming in, 048008 1395.
We're going to be talking now to Nathan Kosmina, the CEO of the mighty Adelaide Reds, Adelaide United. This is in light of the quite audacious move by the AFL club GWS, which I suppose, not having much of a membership base, needs to do something to make a quid. They've partnered up with the TAB. Not only have they partnered up with them, but the launch yesterday of their formal relationship with one of the biggest betting organisations in Australia involved the launch of TV ads featuring GWS star players, where they're looking lovingly up in the air at a green Zeppelin with the words TAB written on it, and then the catch line is let's go, or something like that. You know, let's get into it, let's gamble. It's a polar opposite from the approach which the Reds have taken here, where a couple of years ago now, I think it was, they launched their Here for the Game campaign, which is a promotion saying we're here to enjoy the sport. We're not in a multi, we're not in a syndicate, we haven't got a lazy fiver on what the scoreline's going to be. Nathan, good morning, and thanks for your time. In a sort of environment where, you know, sport is, between the codes, is so competitive in Australia, what was the thinking behind you guys effectively ruling out gambling as a revenue stream at the Reds?
Morning, guys. It was a fundamental discussion around, as you would allude to, revenues. I mean, the fans and our members and for all sporting codes want success, and the reality is that revenue is a key driver of success in this professional age. And it was in COVID, during a time when many clubs were struggling for a dollar, us included, and we went through sort of this process and asked some threshold questions around what we'd be willing to sell and who to and what for, and it evolved into a discussion with the Office for Problem Gambling, and they were looking to promote an alternate message, being that and in essence it's that sport doesn't need to be intrinsically connected to gambling. And that was something that we were passionate about. We felt as though it aligned nicely with our values, and we launched, I think it was 2021.
21, yeah.
From memory, it seems a long time ago now, and it's been at our game day ever since. And I think I said at the time, it was like a new player announcement for us. We got more traction on that story than what we'd had on anything in the time around that. But that's not to say that we're morally, superior to anyone else. It was just something that fit well for us, and we thought aligned with our values. As I said, the sporting organisations are governed to a degree by revenue, and revenue quite often doesn't, but often drives success. So it was just something that we felt aligned with who we were as a club and who we are as a club. And as I said, it's been a really successful campaign for us.
What do you think it's cost you over the last couple of years?
I won't even speculate on that sort of stuff. And it wasn't about that for us. It was more about what message are we promoting. I mean, we're a club that's born out of the local community. We relived a lot of that a couple of weeks ago with our 20th anniversary dinner, and how all the local clubs and federation got together when Adelaide City went under in 2003 and created a new entity. Hence the name United was fitting. For those reasons, you look at our game day, it's full of kids, full of teenagers. We're very much, parochial about our South Australian roots and heritage. It aligned nicely for us to promote an alternate message, and for us, we made a decision that wasn't a path we wanted to go down.
I think the other thing too, Nathan, interested to hear how your players felt about becoming involved in it and the face of it, because it strikes me as a weird double standard. And I know you're not on here to take pot shots at rival codes or anything, but it seems funny that players can be precluded from gambling because of the conflict of interests and the capacity for it affecting performance if they've got sort of money on it themselves, yet they can at the same time be the face of a pro-gambling ad.
Yeah, it is a little unique. I mean, we're the same in terms of the rules and regulations around our sport globally. Yeah. That you're not allowed to bet on football at all. And no, but our players were really supportive of it. Again, most of our guys are SA, born and bred. We obviously have some foreign players. Occasionally bring someone in from interstate, but most of them are local kids, passionate about the club. And I think it was something for us that really resonated with the players. Like it was some, I wouldn't say that betting culture isn't really intrinsic again in our sport, perhaps not as much as others, but our guys really resonated with it. It's one of those ones that's easy to promote, that they were on board with it. Yeah. We've sort of rotated a few different players through it over the journey, but it's been something that everyone's been on board with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I ask you one football question before you go, Nathan?
Yeah.
A pretty busy transfer window for Adelaide United. Of course, Joe Couchy goes out. Stephen Hall, the young backup keeper, both go to the Premier League. There's Alex Popovich to South Korea. And obviously we know Nestor Irakunda's got a move coming up as well. Some of those attracted pretty reasonable transfer fees. And appreciating that 3 of those 4 happened late in the Australian window. But do you think fans can reasonably expect that money will be reinvested in strengthening the squad in future? Or is that earmarked for other development at the club?
No, everything for us goes into strengthening the squad. It's just different people have different definitions of what that looks like. What we've made clear is that we're not going to go out and splash the cash on sort of high-priced foreign talent. We've made a conscious effort over the last couple of years to invest back in the youth of the club, and that involves everything. I mean, that's signing more kids, because young kids on professional contracts are paid a salary, but that it also includes everything around that. Now, our performance department has really grown over the last 3 years because we're trying to invest more time and effort into these local kids, and the ones that have left this year are all been with us for a long time. And it goes in cycles as well. We've been somewhat fortunate this year that we just had an exceptional group. There's another group coming through. They're probably 15, 16 now that might take a few more years before they get their opportunity. But I think it's a reward for what Carl and the coaching staff done since COVID. I think realistically is when most of these players came in, and they've done really well, and the world is watching. To have a couple of boys in the Premier League and one in the Bundesliga is a good advertisement for South Australian football.
The FFA should write you guys a thank you letter for doing the country's work developing young talent, I think. But we obviously, as Reds fans, selfishly want to see the club do great things domestically as well.
Yeah, and that's the balancing act. I mean, the challenge for us in a global market, and Joe, as an example, wasn't something that we were planning on. You get the sort of knock on the door, and same with Nesta to a lesser degree. So who are we to stand in the way of these kids fulfilling their dreams as well. So we need to get the balance right. But for us, it just provides an opportunity for the next group to come through. We signed Stephen Moore on the back of this, which is great, to bring in a senior player on a long-term deal, and there's another one we'll announce shortly, Winger coming back home. So there is some movement, and we're still really confident about what we can achieve this year.
Good stuff, Nathan. Thank you for that. Nathan Cosmina, the CEO of Adelaide United, set the standard. If you're not up to the whole gambling, you don't like it in sport, or they stand alone almost at the moment.
They do.
Amongst very few, acknowledging others that have made stands, but they, it's pretty brave. I mean, they're not a sport flush with cash.
No.
To turn your back on how lucrative they are. I know Nathan didn't want to be drawn on that, but it'd be millions of dollars, I imagine.
It's not so much about what they've spent with this partnership, it's what they've potentially not received.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly right.
That's the way to look at it.
13 minutes to 9. This time yesterday, I think we were reporting on, the third break-in of the morning?
Yeah.
Something like that. We've had another two.
Well, the third string of break-ins.
Third string of break-ins.
They're all multiples.
Another couple overnight, SAPOL have reported on, featuring arrests, thankfully, which is good news. But albeit, again, another small business turns up today and finds that their place has been ransacked. Peter Caldecott for 7 News is in Salisbury, which is where they caught the person who broke into. It was a car mechanic, wasn't it, PC, at Golden Grove?
Yes, amazing pictures on CCTV at the Ultra Tune at Garden Grove. So just about 3 a.m, there's two men, hooded men, that use a brick and they throw it at the front doors, smash the glass front doors and get inside with the alarms blaring. They surge through the front office and grab money out of the till and then make their escape out through the front door. Now, patrols were on the scene within minutes and saw a dark-coloured vehicle driving off, and they called the helicopter straight away, which tracked it through Salisbury, through the back streets, and eventually the car was dumped near the corner of Diamond and Commercial Roads at Salisbury, where the two suspects ran off. Police were on the scene within minutes and chased the offenders. They managed to grab the driver, who's a 40-year-old man of no fixed address, just around the corner on Stratford Road, but the passenger got away, and so they're still actively looking for him today. But, yet another smash and grab. Yesterday there was, I think, 10 break-ins on 3 shopping centres in 3 separate suburbs, and another one last night. But at this stage, I think police don't think it could be the same group, because looking at the CCTV from yesterday, it appears that the offenders, and there were quite a number of them, were all fairly young offenders. And whereas this one last night, he's got a 40-year-old driver who's been arrested. So it's probably not them, but I'll leave that up to police to figure out.
Was the thinking with this one, Peter, that it was the same sort of MO, though? Was this 40-year-old bloke, was he just after the cash register? Is that what he was trying to get?
Absolutely, and they're not rocket scientists, I can tell you, because they went into the office, grabbed the cash and put it in a bag, and that bag was found next to the car that was dumped at Salisbury, and on the bag it was written Golden Grove Ultra Tune, which is a bit of a giveaway.
Unbelievable.
God, unbelievable.
Criminal masterminds.
Yeah, they tend not to be, do they?
Yeah, good stuff, Peter. Hey, just quickly, didn't we pass laws in South Australia to make it a jailable and always jailable offence if you assault a cop?
I thought so.
How did this Matthew Priest lunatic, who pleaded guilty to assaulting a police officer, and he's co-accused, she sounds like an absolute charmer, she's pleaded not guilty to multiple aggravated assault charges. This is after a dust-up with the cops at the X. The X are on Rundle Street, one of Adelaide's best pubs. This guy ran as some anti-vax candidate in the elections or something. I think some mask-related argy-bargy. But anyway, he's chased a copper down the street, and he's assaulted the copper who was chasing him down the street. This is what the judge said. While this officer was attempting to detain you, you caused him to be dragged to the ground and assaulted him before running off towards North Terrace. As a result of your conduct, the officer sustained bruising and scrapes to the knees and elbow. I agree with your counsel that your attitude to police from the start and the language you use can only be described as disgraceful. Now, his charmer of a partner, She's accused of ripping the hair out of a female officer's scalp. Now, that's still before the courts, but the photographs of this poor copper, Anthea Beck, Senior Constable Anthea Beck, I don't even know if she's still in the police force, this woman.
God.
I'm just holding that up on my iPhone so that Will can see it on the Tysers website. Now, that wasn't him.
Yeah.
But what he did, he chased a cop down Rundle Street and belted him. He rocks up to court with some bloody sob story about, it's all terribly unfortunate. The fact that he's drunk is taken into consideration. He gets a suspended sentence. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, I thought we passed a law so that if you attacked the cop, you went to jail.
Maybe someone from the state government can provide us with some clarification on that, because it was their law.
He got a suspended sentence upon him entering into a good behaviour bond.
That's
so
it.
No jail time.
So you can just attack a cop?
Yeah, apparently. You don't go to jail for it.
So long as you're drunk?
Yeah. Yeah.
What a disgrace.
Or upset about masks or something.
Yeah, if we would appreciate some clarification on that, how the law is meant to apply in these cases.
It's one of the most important stories in South Australia. I don't know if anyone else has been talking about it, but they should be.
Yep. Let's check traffic thanks to Novita Tech. They can support you to live more independently. The summer sale's on now. Visit novitatech.com.au.
Thanks, Will. At Clovelly Park, delays from overnight works clearing on South Road near Tonsley Boulevard. Myrtle Bank, traffic lights out. Glen Osmond Road near Fowlers Road. Works at Winvale, the Golden Way to Grenfell Road, speeds at 40. Slow going Brighton Road, Brighton, with the camera Crittenden Road at Finton. Spice up your Valentine's Day at Sexyland with Australia's largest range of adult toys, costumes, gifts and games. Visit in-store or shop 2-hour delivery at sexyland.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
On 5AA mornings today, how safe are our trees in the parklands and other places right around the metro area in the wake of the tragic death of a 22-year-old woman yesterday in parklands at North Adelaide? And Hank Jongan from Centrelink, he'll be on the line to take your calls and help you out with any Centrelink issues. Your legal questions answered too with DBH Lawyers. I'm Matthew Pantelis. Look forward to your company from 9.
This is what it sounds like to win the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Speechless. The $3.6 million grand prize could be your new life at Henley Beach in a fully furnished Scott Salisbury dream home. Let that sink in. homelottery.com.au. Join the fight and support life-changing medical research for all South Australians. Licence M14493.
Remember when milk came in bottles? I mean real glass bottles. It somehow tasted better and it was better for the planet. That's why the Flurio Milk Company have partnered with the Other Way to bring you milk in a glass bottle. The reduction in single-use plastic bottles will be phenomenal, in the millions. Join the fight to reduce plastic and look for milk refill stations in your supermarket. Thanks to Flurio Milk Company and the Other Way. Visit fluriomilkco.com.au for more.
After 25 years of delivering perfect service, ASIT Couriers is evolving to better reflect what they do now. They're not just couriers, they're your go-to for fast, secure and reliable national transport solutions, now known as ASIT Transport Solutions. Darren, Chris and the team at ASIT Transport Solutions now have a fleet of over 220 vehicles delivering any size parcel and any size pallet to anywhere in Australia. Book online at asitcouriers.com.au. Don't send it, ace it.
City Discount Tires. Get saving now with City Discount Tires. We're offering great deals on the world's top brands in tires, wheels, suspension and parts. Suitable for four-wheel drives, SUVs and passenger cars, including Falcon, Michelin, Pirelli, Kumho, Hankook and many more. Finance options available. Search citydiscounttires.com.au and locate your nearest dealer today. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
4 to 9, we've got some VIP seats to give away to the Evening Under the Stars concert this Saturday at Unleashed Soldiers Memorial Gardens. Third caller through right now on 8223 0055. Of course, anyone who does go this weekend goes in the running to win a $500 Unley Road shopping voucher as well, which is fantastic.
You know, when Mark Latham walked out the 2004 election leading the Labor Party, New Sensations by INXS was the theme song that he had playing. I reckon INXS should have sued him for that. Look at that, came walking out. New sensation starts something. He went and broke somebody's arm.
Time for Fuel Watch, thanks to The free RA app that you can download from your app store today. Some outlets in the east have already jumped up to $2.19. $2.19, yikes.
$2.19?
That makes these prices pretty good. The United Brighton Road, Summit and Park, $1.77.7. The United Sunnybrook Drive, at Windvale, $1.76.9. The ex-convenience Torrens Road, Croydon Park, $1.69.7. The cheapest diesel, the ex-convenience Main North Road, Jeps Cross, at $1.85.5. We've got some beautiful days on the way. The weather forecast has made some very pleasant reading. But with the heat comes the UV. We check the UV index thanks to the SunSmart app you can also download when the UV's 3 and above. Cover up. Use sun protection. Stay SunSmart today. It'll reach 12, which is considered extreme. That's consistent over the course of the week. In fact, every day they've forecast that it's 12 at the moment. Top of 29 and a beautiful day on the way.
Slip, slop, slap. You'll need to in these conditions.
Exactly right. We're out of time. Matt Pantelis is coming up. We'll catch you tomorrow morning from 6.
See you then, folks.
Ladies, is the need to wheel the time making your life a misery? Caruso's Way Less to the rescue.